Hello, good evening, social change warriors, and hopefully future social change warriors. I'm Catherine Felton Page. I'm the founder of Social Change Warriors, and I am here tonight with Reality Check. And soon Amber KR will join me as well. I did not expect to be live tonight, so I'm pretty excited that I'm even able to do this. As you can hear, I have an extremely bad COVID cold, so I was hoping to be released from rehab on Thursday when we were all together Wednesday night for our part one of Somebody, Nobody is a Nobody. You literally all, you didn't realize it, but when I blocked my camera and turned off my mic and handed everything over to Reality Check and Amber, I was literally getting COVID. I have never felt that sick in all of my life. So for all of you that have had COVID multiple times, I am so sorry. I have not. Yes, it does. Reality Check. I have not had COVID. I've been so fortunate. I've decided to get the vaccine and I have been boosted, and I believe in science. And for those of you that don't, that's your right and that's your business. It's medical business is everybody's own business. But I have no problem telling people that I do believe in science, because I do. And I trusted the research and I did get the vaccination, but I did not get the most recent booster because I was about to have this knee surgery. So I was going to have my booster following the knee surgery, thinking I'd be so quarantined up from having knee surgery that I wouldn't worry too much about it. But unfortunately, somebody here at this lovely rehab facility, assisted care nursing facility that I'm staying at, came down with COVID, I guess, last Tuesday. And lo and behold, while I was on live with you guys, I literally got hit with the COVID. My throat immediately got sore. I ran a fever.
The nurse, they can all see that you're in the children's ward, though.
Exactly. This is my blanket that they gave me when I checked in here after my knee surgery. Reality Check, isn't it sweet? So then I had a fantastic roommate for my first few days here, but she ended up having to stay longer. So they moved her to the assisted living component here, which is this whole other wing behind me called the Lodge. This is really quite a big facility with an amazing, huge staff. And they've all been so kind to me. I've received such amazing physical therapy for my knee. I've had several friends have knee replacement surgery. So I thought I knew what I was in for. But as I jokingly say to them all, they all lied, because none of them told me how horrific it was actually going to be. So I will not lie to any of you. If there's any of you out there, social change warriors, friends, family who are about to or in the future are going to have a knee replacement, if you want to know the truth, ask me. If you'd rather not know the truth, then don't ask me, because I will not lie to you. So just don't ask me to tell you anything about it, because I would have preferred, honestly, to know the truth. This has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to get through, and I've had 2 children, live births, and 1 miscarriage, and a neck injury when I was on duty as a police officer, and other surgeries to my neck, and broken leg, and I've had it. So trust me, this one is the worst. But I just thank you all for all your well wishes. So many of you that have written to me, reached out to me. I can't thank you enough. But I felt a little bit well enough today that I wanted to pull myself together and bring Reality Check back and Amber back and pick up where we left off Wednesday, when I actually got hit with what I'm calling the COVID bomb right while I was on air with you. I really want to pick up where we left off, because I want to put all of this behind us for the holidays and maybe have a few fun-filled shows, and then get right back into business, looking for crime and corruption and standing for our victims of domestic violence. So
100%.
But I felt it was important for social change warriors to have a reaction to some of the negativity that's gone on in the Karen Read movement in the last 3 weeks, the week before my surgery and the last 2 weeks now while I've been laid up in the hospital and here at rehab. There's just been so much going on. It's almost mind numbing. I can't quite believe it. And I felt that since I started following this case way back in, I don't even know, a year ago now, maybe longer. And I have, because of me being a social creature, I have gotten to know a lot of really wonderful people in this movement, and I have come to care about them. And I feel really bad for what's going on. So as a social worker and a journalist and an ex-cop, I decided that I should at least have some reaction to it, whether or not anybody watches it or not. I just wanted to have it for my own sake, to talk out my own concerns and sadness, I guess would be the way I would put it, Reality Check. Sadness over all of the bickering and the name calling and all of the nonsense, in my opinion, that's going on. Now, it might not be nonsense to the people that are involved in it. I understand that. I'm not trying to diminish their feelings. I just feel bad. I really feel bad that everybody is arguing. It just feels like every day there's a new petty argument going on, or a valid argument, but that's not really being handled like grown-ups. Does that make sense, Reality Check?
It totally makes sense. One of the things I need to correct the record. I had several people contact me and say, "Hey, you love Aiden," and I guess I need to correct that. I love what Aiden did for the movement.
I agree with you. Yes.
But the person that he is, when somebody crosses him, is not a person I would ever want to be friends with. As I stated before, he threatened me twice. When I stood up to him the last time, he kind of played it off. But then I've seen him go at Jen. Now he's going at John Como, just for speaking their truth. And I guess the way I look at it is, why are you attacking the people of Canton when they're telling you what they see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He comes across, when you talk to him, he can be very arrogant. He can be very dismissive. Hi, Amber.
Hi, Amber. Welcome. I'm just letting.
She's muted.
Yeah, you're muted, dear.
Oh, so sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
No, you're fine.
Continue.
Guys,
I don't want to interrupt you.
This was absolutely impromptu. I just told everybody at the beginning of our time here tonight, when Reality Check and I checked in, that we just decided I did not know how I was going to feel tonight. I'm in like day 2 of COVID, and I've never had it before, so it's kicking my butt. But I felt really bad that I had to just bow out on all you guys Wednesday night, when we were really in the middle of a great discussion about what's gone on with the Free Karen Read movement in the last 3 weeks. I
apologize for the no makeup Friday.
That's all good. I just have lipstick on because I refuse to come on live without any lipstick. But I did get to take a shower today too, so I washed my hair for all of you lovely people. But anyway, Amber, I was sharing with everybody that I started Social Change Warriors to make a difference in communities, to gear up communities to defend people, their neighbors, and their loved ones against crime and corruption. And I did not start Social Change Warriors to get involved with a lot of arguments and be like the center or be dragged into arguments. But unfortunately, like I was saying to Reality Check, is that since I started covering the case, there's been a lot of side stories going on just constantly here and there. And because I have become friends with so many people that are in the movement now that I have never met in person yet. Amber, I finally got to meet in person this summer. When I was back in Madison, I split my time between Florida and Madison, as you guys all know. And Amber and I met on Facebook, on the Karen Read Jen O'Keefe Facebook. And I just mentioned that I wanted to do a standout. And I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
I said we met on the Facebook group that I'm now kicked out of.
Yes, and you're going to get to tell us about that. I can't wait, because I'm going to need to take a break when the nurse comes in to do my vitals. Okay, so never have I ever live streamed from a retirement community assisted living at age 61. Never have I ever live streamed with full-blown COVID. Never have I ever live streamed with a knee that just got 40 staples taken out of it. So this is just completely crazy, I realize. But who cares, right? Let's go for it. So I want to hear a lot of different stories tonight that have gone on while I was in the hospital. I tuned out of all this because I didn't want it to upset my healing, but I was made aware of things that happened. Social Change Warriors was called out on a live stream for the most ridiculous reasons that should have never happened. And lies were told about our channel and about me, which I do not understand, because I am not trying to be in anyone's crosshairs. I'm just trying to come on here twice a week and live stream for domestic violence victims, their family.
She keeps muting herself and she doesn't even realize.
So I said, and me too. Like, okay. Like she, like it was it was you, mainly the target, myself, and then Social Change Warriors together.
Right. It just so, and you're all going to hear about that in a few minutes because normally I wouldn't bring this to the public forum, but I kept it in emails and in DMs. But then my name was brought out on a live stream. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just sit back and say, sure, okay, content creators, just it's a field day now. Everybody's just going to start hammering on everybody and making up stories about each other and lies. I mean, honestly, you can't hurt me. Okay. I'm doing this as a volunteer. I love Social Change Warriors and I'll continue to do it whether I follow Karen Reed or John O'Keefe or any of the crime and the what's in the streets, crime in the streets as we call it. I don't need to be in your circle of acceptance. I don't need to be in your good old boys club. I don't need any of that. I'm just here to do what I love to do, which is support my community members, support community members all around the country, and call out crime and jazz you people up to get in your meetings and go to your town halls like Jen O'Donnell.
In other people's realities, you're just like a stalker.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was actually caught. Yeah, she digresses. Anyway, yeah, we've got some good content coming up at the end because I am not going to stand for somebody spewing lies about me, my channel, or anything to do with Social Change Warriors, because we're going to continue on for years to come and we're going to make a difference. We are already making a difference. And I'm proud of that. And I don't need thousands and thousands of followers to make a difference. I can help people look for missing people. I can help families to get justice for their loved ones without having any subscribers. So volunteer work is volunteer work. What you do is what you do personally. I've done that for years without telling anybody about it or live streaming about it. So I just wanted to get involved with live streaming because it looked interesting to me. And I thought I could meet some very interesting people and maybe my voice could make a difference and I could be a pep rallying figure to get people motivated in their communities to stand against crime and to stand for injustice in their communities. So we're going to just go back to where we were. And I want to let Reality Check wants to kind of set the record straight a little bit. And then I want Amber to talk about getting booted. Yes, getting booted. Again, Amber, Miss Snark, who loves to be snarky, and everyone knows she's snarky, is now booted out of the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe Facebook page. So I want her to talk about that. So whether we like it or not, Social Change Warriors got dragged into all this just because we had an opinion about something, just because we wanted to say what our opinion was about some of the content creators. We were never disrespectful. We didn't swear at them. We did not call them names. We gave constructive criticism and then we got hammered for it. And then, of course, we brought Sean on the Golf on our channel because I felt he had the right to have a platform, just like anybody has the right to have a platform. And we got hammered for that. So I'm pretty much at enough is enough now, that if you don't want to come to our channel, please don't come. If you don't want to subscribe to Social Change Warriors, it's okay. There's lots of good content out there. You could watch YouTube for the rest of your life and never watch it all. But just don't spew about us anymore. Don't say anything negative. We're not here to bother anybody. We're actually here, like I said, to call out crime and corruption and stand for victims of murder and domestic violence murder specifically. So after this night is over, this will all go behind us. And then we will focus on our next guest. We have some amazing guests coming up next week. And then after the new year, we get Ed Byers back and several other guests are lined up. So we are going to keep finding the corruption for you in cities and counties all over America. We're going to keep standing for the victims who are passed away. Okay? Hi, thank you. We're going to keep standing for the victims who have passed away and who have no justice because their murderer is still out walking the streets. That's what we came on YouTube to do. That's why we're hooking up with really interesting people in the movements of Free Karen Reed, Sandra Birchmore, many of Ellen Greenberg, hopefully Suzanne Morphew. I'm hoping to connect with some of her family at some point. Because she has no justice right now. Hers is basically a cold case. So we have a lot of work to do after the new year, and we're not going to involve ourselves anymore in this bickering and name calling that's been going on the last 3 weeks that we were drug into, I guess, basically. All right. So reality check, why don't you go ahead first and share with us what you would like to say that you didn't get to say on Wednesday. And then we'll hear from Amber about how and why she was booted from this Facebook group that she's been a part of the entire trial. And we are obviously believe that Karen Read did not hit John O'Keefe with her car. I stand by 100%. All three of us do. So we don't have to agree with every content creator to stand for Karen and to stand for John.
It was, like I said, it was brought to my attention that I came across as still loving Aiden. And I guess I didn't approach it the right way. I love the fact that Aiden brought the attention to this case, and I did say that I love when he does his lives out front and blah, blah, blah. But I no longer respect the man. What he's done to Jen, the way he threatened me, the way that he has done other people, just strictly because they either called him out on something or because they stood up to him. It's not acceptable. Going at Jen and knowing, like today, he posted a post of a text message she sent him, begging him to take the videos down because of her family members. And his whole post was, "You did this, Jen. You did this." No, Aiden, you did it. And she asked you to take it down. There's no reason why we have to retaliate against anybody.
Right. You
can simply ignore it and walk away and it loses power. But Aiden won't do that. And like I said, I have receipts, and should I need to show them, I will. But I do not support him anymore. I think that the more he does this stuff, especially after watching him with Grant yesterday morning on the front steps of the courthouse, and Grant was asking him. I
didn't see this. What happened?
Oh, you need to go back. Tom CPU always does all the lives.
Right. He's great.
On the steps. And it was Aiden going at Grant with questions and Grant going to Aiden with questions, and Aiden wouldn't answer Grant's questions. He was asking him, "Hey, you had a contact with somebody in the FBI. Do you I heard that you signed a non-disclosure and blah, blah, blah." And Aiden wouldn't answer any of that. He just kept going off on Grant about his clothing, about how he was dressed. And it was like, what's going on here? And it was like he kept trying to get louder and louder, so people weren't hearing what Grant was saying. But people have the right to hear what Grant's saying, just like they have the right to hear what Aiden's saying.
Freedom of speech.
And the fact that he wouldn't answer Grant's questions, I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't dug into it.
I just have a quick question, girl. So was it a typical, let me call you names and make fun of your clothes and your hair? And was it one of those deals again that he likes to get involved with?
Typically, for the majority of what he was asking him questions about the fake victim and other stuff. But then he went into when Grant kept asking him the same question over and over, then he went to ridiculing his clothes and his shoes. And
yeah. That's what I figured. So
that's how they handle it. When they have nothing of substance to say back, then they just go for, "You're crazy," or "You look at how you look." And it's like, because you have nothing of substance to say. Clearly.
And personally, for me, specifically because from what I've heard, Grant is autistic.
He's one that really is autistic.
Why the hell are you attacking an autistic person? Why?
Well, that's
Because
neither
they're
here
weaker
nor
than
there.
him.
in
It
my-
makes him
hang
feel
on a
good
second.
about himself.
Yeah, but that's sort of neither here nor there, because we all have our issues, and everybody has somebody. Not everybody, but a lot of
Well,
people
right.
do
Why are you
have.
attacking anybody?
Right. I have total respect for anybody that has any kind of has autism and deals with it in their life and is able to get on with life and still continue to do their work and their family. And I know that must be incredibly hard at times. And I feel for anybody that has any kind of either a mental health or, in this case, autism on board. But if you're out putting yourself out there, like Grant is putting himself out there in the public and putting himself out there on Twitter, then he doesn't really probably want any extra, consideration for that. Right. I mean, I don't need any extra consideration for my stuff. And
Okay,
all of us have things
But
going
here's
on.
the thing, though. Does Aiden do that to anybody else on the street? Does he ridicule the way they dress? Does he? I mean,
Oh yeah,
granted,
he most certainly does.
He does do that with women. You're right.
He does it with
Women.
everybody that he doesn't like. I mean,
Women.
if you're not Team Aiden, you're going to get called names. That's just simple. I mean, that's just his brand, though, you guys. I hope you all realize this, that I don't think anybody really knows who he is. He has developed a brand that goes way back to way before John O'Keefe died. So most of you, I don't think have ever taken the time, Turtle Riders, to go back and maybe watch old streams, because he's the same guy he's always been. He's no different. That's the only thing I can say is he's held true to who he is. He has developed a brand that is somewhat like the other ranters that are out there on news media. That's become a thing now where, you get up there and you swear rant and you make fun of people and you call people names, and then that gets your base going crazy, and then everybody becomes like an angry mob. And before you know it, you got 100,000 views, because unfortunately there are people out there that like that brand of journalism. It's not journalism to me, because I'm old school. Okay. So for me, old school journalism is what I put up on one of the slides yesterday. And while you guys chit chat about what I'm talking about right now a little bit.
Let me get that up for you.
I'll put that. Well, I've got it already, Amber. Hang on.
Oh, you can do it? Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm on a laptop tonight. So, whoops, now I just removed it. Add to the stage. Okay. So let me quick fly through here, because I do want to make it clear that I believe that Aiden is very talented in what he does.
Yes.
I don't have to agree with how he does it. It's not for me to agree or disagree, but I can have an opinion. I'm not trying to get him to change. I'm not asking him to change. I can just have an opinion that when he comes for somebody that I have come to like in this movement, that I have met via the chat boxes and all of the live shows that I have gone to. And actually, I might have gone to.
I've actually asked him to change. I've asked him to rise above, and he refuses.
Yeah, but
yeah, I don't want him to change who he is.
It's not his brand, you guys. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that, because he's going to lose followers. The people come to his channel because they like what he gives them, and that's okay. We all have different things that we like. Why do
I'm sorry
like
that it totally disgusts me that people like watching other people being ripped apart.
Well, I don't like it either, but we don't have to hang out with people like that are different from us. And they don't necessarily they won't like us. They'll think I'm too much of a goody two shoes, or I'm too nice, or I'm or I talk too fast, or my slides are boring, or, everybody's got a different thing they draw themselves to. I don't tend to socialize with people that make fun of other people, that put people down, that call people names. I never have, and I never will. I didn't in high school. I didn't in grade school. I didn't in college, and I don't now. So everybody beats to their own drummer. I don't have to like it, but it's not my place to tell them to be different. That's just my opinion on that, Reality Check. I appreciate what you were trying to do, but you're not going to change someone who's 40 some odd years old and has a brand now that is built on rant, swearing, and calling people names and yelling all the time. You're not going to change that, because that's who's in the chat. They like it. That's what they want to hear. But that doesn't mean you get to call yourself a journalist. The duty of a journalist is to write the truth. Journalism means you go back to actual facts, you look at the documents, you discover what the record is. He's done that for much of Karen Read, which is why I started going to his live shows, because he was doing journalistic work. He was doing on the scene, boots on the ground, investigative journalistic work. And I wished he would have stuck to that. But somehow during this lull of the trial being where it is, and
no. He was doing this way before the lull. He has attacked women way before this.
Okay.
He has attacked women way before this. Every time that somebody has either had an issue with him or called him out on something or disagreed with him, that's when he goes up and he does what he called, I'm going to blog on you.
Yeah, sure. I know this because I've had several people.
So it's not just in this lull. He's been doing this for a while.
Right. You're right about that. But what I was trying to say is that I have to be honest with myself and with all of you that are watching and anyone that watches on replay, is that I have respect for what he's done as a journalist. He has done some of this. He has gotten actual facts. He has looked at documents. He has interviewed people, and I appreciate all that he's done. So that is why I would go to his live shows for this component. But when all of the negativism would start coming out, the threats to blog on you if you do or say anything that is not what he wants to hear, or that is, like you said, could be against him. And even if the person that's coming at him is
or
wrong,
if you're watching somebody's channel that he doesn't want you watching because he's pissed off at them.
Right. And he doesn't get to dictate the narrative that way. He's not in charge of his turtle writers. They can do whatever they flip and want to do. If they want to go to anybody's live shows, they can. If they want to make comments in other live shows, they can. If they have a criticism of him, they should be able to have it and voice it. You shouldn't put yourself on a live stream if you're not willing to take a little heat and a little criticism from time to time. And then it's up to you if you handle that with grace and style, or if you get all pissy and start calling people names because you don't like their criticism of you. So
he simply says fuck you and go away.
Right. So Walter Cronkite was one of my favorites from back in the day when I was first studying journalism and learning about journalism. He'd already been around a long time by the time I was in high school and taking journalism classes and then college. But I always loved this quote from him: "Our job is only to hold up the mirror, to tell and show the public what has happened." That's the real point of journalism. Investigative journalism is a whole nother avenue. That's a whole different avenue. But journalism at its finest is who, what, where, when, why, how. That's journalism. And I get really sick and tired of all of the people in the world now basically calling it mainstream media does this and mainstream media does that. This is what mainstream media's job is. It's to tell us what happened. It's to tell us what happened, where it happened, how it happened, why it happened. Mainstream media is not investigative journalists. That's a separate wing of journalism. So people need to get off this popcorn stand they're on, trying to sell us a bunch of crap and trying to make us believe that all media are bad, because that's not true. Then you'd have to make us believe that all politicians are bad, and we know that's not true. And all this and all that. Not everything is everything. There's black and white and there's gray. There's 3 shades of everything, and then there's everything in between. So when you go on these rants and these tantrums on your channels and you try to convince people of something that you don't even know for sure is true, that you haven't even fact checked yourself, that's how all this stuff just keeps getting spread. And that's how it happens. It's one lie builds into another lie. And the more times you tell the public a lie, the more times they believe it's truth. And then everybody starts repeating the lie. And then the lie actually becomes the truth, even though it never was the truth.
Can I touch upon something though? Because I know, Kat, that you said that this is his brand. This is what he's been. This is what he does, right? And I've said it before, where I'm okay with this is what we expect from him. We know that this is what he does to an extent. But in reality, he can be and do whatever he wants to do until it starts affecting other people. Until he intrudes on other people's rights. That's where the issue is. And number 2, my issue is, is that he's dishonest about who he is. If you want to be honest about who you are and you're like, I'm a dick and I am a dick and I'm just going to be a dick. Cool. Do you.
Well, that's
But
like
don't
what
go
I
around
said.
and pretend, clutch your pearls and people are attacking me. I'm only counter punching and they talked about my kids, but I've talked about everybody else's kids under the sun. I don't be a
Okay,
hypocrite.
okay.
Be
That
honest.
pisses me off. All she said was that he was spending time with his kids. She didn't do anything derogatory
Correct.
about his children. Let's get
And
that
gave
clear.
him, he was able to manipulate that gave him
Yes.
free reign
And-
to pummel her.
And then he posted that when Sean denounced him, that anybody can go on his channel or his page and support Sean, which is fucking bullshit, Aiden. Bullshit. Because you called me twice
Tell it.
when you saw me on his lives and you told me you were done, you were going to blog about me, or twice you told me.
And you're not the only one, so it would be one thing if it was just you. We wouldn't have you on this platform to say this if we hadn't vetted you, because we want to make sure what we put out there is accurate.
I have my receipts.
He has done this to many people. So this, don't come out here and say, "Oh, she's a liar. She's an attention seeker."
I blew a
No,
fuse. Sorry.
no.
Oh, but
She's just telling the truth.
But people will, and I'm going to tell all of you turtle riders, I understand why you want to back your person. That's understandable. That's kind of the way of the world. Everybody wants to belong to something. This all goes back to grade school when friend groups are first made and we learn how to be in a friend group and we learn what it feels like to be kicked out of a friend group and to be made to feel like one minute you were someone's friend and the next minute they don't talk to you anymore and you don't know why and you're just left holding your hands up. What did I do? Why aren't we friends anymore? But that's just the nature, human nature. Unfortunately, it can be cruel. And then this continues on into high school where it gets even more cutthroat, where you're dealing with lots of people being just nasty little bitches. Girls were really nasty at times in all of our high schools. Boys could be jerks. And then you go into college and it's all different. It's all different because there's so many people and there's still the little fractions and there's still the cliques, but it's not quite the same. We start to mature. We start to get better. We start to improve with age. But
Some of us do. Some of us do.
Right. But there
Did
are
you just
still...
say that out loud?
Yeah, but we still all want to belong. That's just a human being component of being human. We want to have friends. We want to have groups of like-minded individuals, people that like to ski, or maybe we like to hang out with people that like to read books and they're in a book club with us. And we all love that. We love that feeling of belonging. So when something like this happens, when true crime becomes a thing, and I don't even know, I've been doing research, by the way, because I want to do a live on this. Adam's actually going to do a live with us on addiction to true crime after the holidays. I contacted him, asked him if he would like to do that because he did a mini version, and I have just started researching for my big version, and I just started making my deck. So I went on his live and I said, hey, this is really interesting. You're doing a live tonight, and I'm in the middle of research on addiction to true crime and what does it mean for people. And I just found it fascinating. So we're going to talk about that together in January at some point. But there is, like I said, we all have this one, we all want to belong. We all have a need to be in a friend group or in a group of look at, there's groups at your church, there's groups at your work there. And then when you're left out of those, you feel bad, right? So when this true crime came on and everybody with Karen Read and all these groups started forming and boots on the ground and then the YouTubers came involved, the content creators, and then there was a ton of us. I've met so many people that we were tweeting. We were kind of the Twitter, and nobody really ever mentioned us or talked about us, but we were the Twitter folks. We were I called, boots in the cloud, because I didn't have the ability to drive or fly from Florida or Wisconsin to Massachusetts, but I could go boots in the cloud and I could go on Twitter every day. I was live tweeting the trial at times. I was constantly posting 3 to 4 times a day about the evidence and why Karen Read should be exonerated. And I really, truly was a soldier for Karen Read. And it wasn't just me. There were hundreds of us tweeting. I mean, I could name so many names. Carrie, True Crime Eve. I wish I will put all their names. I'll put all their names on my Twitter because they deserve credit. And nobody has once given any credit to the boots in the cloud. It's only been about the content creators and the boots on the ground. Now, boots on the ground, don't get me wrong. You guys are it. We hail to you. We bow to you. You're the reason why I started live streaming. I was so inspired by Jen O and Rita and the Roccos and John and oh gosh, there's so many of you.
Tom CPU.
Tom CPU, the Sweeney.
Is it Boston Tom or who
Boston Mike.
Boston Mike. Yeah, you're great, Mike. I've been tweeting with you back and forth a little bit here and there. There's so many of you. I couldn't name you all. Oh,
Scott
Paul.
McGinnis.
Yeah, there's just Scott. I mean, there's so many of you, and I'll just make a giant thank you card for all the boots on the ground, and we'll put it on our next live next week. And we're gonna give you guys all our Princess Warrior trophy for everything you've done for this movement, for one individual who was wrongly accused of a crime. But what I want to see in the future is I would like to see all of you that were willing to support one of your fellow statesmen from Massachusetts, but I'd like to see you stay in this. I'd like to see you help me call out the corruption in Pennsylvania and get justice for Ellen Greenberg. Continue to fight for Sandra Birchmore. More arrests need to be had. Continue to fight for Enrique and for Justin Root and for Anne Marie Grant's brother that we featured on our very first live stream. She was willing to come on what I've been told was my fledgling channel. She was my first guest. Her brother was strangled in a chokehold in a very, what I consider illegal police maneuver in a jail in Reno, Nevada. And we're going to bring her back on again because her and Justin Root's sister, and I cannot remember her first name, they have started a foundation and they have like 5 other families involved. And they represent,
It begins with a J. Is it Jen?
Jen, maybe. They represent people that have lost their lives in police brutality. So we want to honor them and shout them out a lot more. And so I'm hopeful that Anne Marie will come back on. But during the course of my live streaming since August, and I got involved and started meeting people, and I was fortunate enough to get to know Jen and Rita and Auntie Deb. Oh my God, Auntie Deb, you have been my comic relief. I'm so happy that you wrote me back when I wrote you an email way back when and said hi. And I watched your very first take on the trial with your parody. You have become such a dear, dear friend to me. And I'm so happy for your success. And I just can't wait to see you branch out and do more. You're a beautiful human. And there's so many more that are boots on the ground and in the cloud that I have met and that I have become friends with. And so I feel like I was never really accepted into the good old boys club because I was as they put it, who are you? You're just a nobody.
You're a nobody.
That's why this show happened on Wednesday, and why we're finishing it up tonight is that nobody is a nobody, and all of us that cared enough to spend hours of our time in the cloud or on the ground to fight for injustice that's going on in Canton with the corrupt police, the corrupt government there that Rita and Jen and all the people we just mentioned are fighting for. We felt for you. We have empathy for you. And that's why we came on board. And we've all brought people on board. Just so you know, I've had several friends that were interested in this after I told them about it. They've come on board. Kathy's in the chat tonight. My dear friend Kathy, she has come on board to fight for justice for Karen Reed. And she's been attending a lot of the lives, and she was in Miss Emily's trial coverage. She watched the trial with Miss Emily. So I really would like to see a little more shout out going to the boots in the cloud, and I will continue to give it to you because there's so many of you out there that are just making amazing contributions.
Just a shout out. John is held back for over 2 months. He's been doing a lot of research, especially into the select board and everything. And he is going on Calling All Beings tomorrow night.
Oh, great.
And so everybody make sure that you hit the notification thing to be alerted. And I did give him a challenge. He probably won't do it. I told him I would donate any amount of money he wanted me to if he were to dress up like Beyonce with the wig and do Ring on It. So I did tell him that. I'm sure he's not going to, but it was funny for me and him. But he is going to be on there. We need to go on there, especially now, because Aiden has been going at him since he released his statement, and he needs the support too. So.
Absolutely, for sure.
Oh, wow.
we will support anybody that is getting bullied or wrongfully accused of something they did not do. That's what we do.
Well, I know John's not scared of him by any means, but they need to know that people realize the truth. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, we've got it figured out. You're not that smart. You might have some of them fooled, but you don't have all of them fooled. I'm sorry. I'm a little snarky tonight. I'm doing my best. If I go off a little too much, rein me in.
So let's
I'm probably going to get out of here, because if I don't, I'm going to be really snarky, and that's going to deter from the whole thing.
Let's just continue. I want to get through up to where we were, and then I'm going to have Amber tell us what happened. So just as a reminder,
here's my Rita.
Yeah, boots on the ground have been absolutely phenomenal. I only can hope that in future cases in other communities, they will take this as a sign that this is what you have to do. If you want to get attention and you want to get the corruption out of your cities and your communities, you have to band together and you have to get on the ground. You can't just stay in the cloud. You
okay, I'm sorry. Go back. Oh, that little girl looks like a really young Honey Boo Boo. Isn't she adorable?
She's adorable.
Her mother gave us permission for her to be in the picture because
God, I love it.
She was so proud of being part of the Karen Reed movement.
It's the face she's making. Honey Boo Boo used to make that face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, these are just the faces of the boots on the ground.
And Rich.
Rich, Jen O'Donnell, Rita, and then I think, is that Rich again?
Peter Murphy.
Just, it's really inspiring to see these photos of all the signs and the time that they took to make these signs and the time they took out of their lives to stand out in the street and support a cause that they truly believe in. And Rita's I'm sorry, my mouse isn't working, so I have to use this touchpad and it's very touchy. Rita's interviews with Boston 10 were phenomenal. I've watched all of them a couple times. We showed a few of them when she was on our show twice this past in the summer. And Rita will come back on again when she's ready, I'm sure. She's taken a break, and we appreciate that she's done so much for Canton. And yes, everyone misses her voice and her presence because she did a lot for Canton and for calling out crime and corruption. She truly is a social change warrior. So we were very much under the radar, Amber and I. I mean, when I started the show, I was by myself, and I was averaging like less than 100 people total, viewing my streams. But I was just doing me and calling out my corruption and standing for victims of domestic violence. And then I luckily met Amber and asked her if she wanted to be second chair and come on board. And I was just immediately impressed with her and her ability to think on her feet and talk on her feet. Because guys, this isn't as easy as it looks. We don't have a script for this. My deck is my script because I need it to stay on track. And I like to give you all visuals because I'm a visual learner, but I don't ever know for sure what's going to come out of my mouth. And I know neither does Amber. So
ask Sean, he'll tell you the same thing about me.
Yeah, I know. So pardon me, guys, but COVID's getting the best of me here. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay on with you, but I'm going to do my best. So what happened is that I have looked up to Sean since I first met him, which was via me being on one of his live shows. His very first or second live show, I was in the chat box and I made a comment to him that I was former LEO patrol officer. I was never at any high level that he was at, but I felt that because I was just a patrol officer, I could give some good insight as to what it's like for patrol officers to show up as the first responders to a lot of these scenes. And I also wanted to give my overall law enforcement experience opinion on the case. And then a little bit of my social work and a little bit of my journalism. I told him I wanted to throw it all in there and give him my opinion. So he was really great to me and wrote back to me, and he encouraged me to start my own channel. And I really appreciated that. And so we don't get along on everything. We don't agree on everything, but I respect the man tremendously. So when I had a chance to kind of the slide at the beginning of the show Wednesday night, I put up the Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. So I took a shot and I wrote to Aiden, Mazza Media, LTL, Young Jerks, Melanie. I mean, I wrote to all of them. I sent emails to all of them and explained what my background was and that I was trying to start up a YouTube channel, Social Change Warriors, calling out corruption. And would any of them consider coming on my show to help me get started? And not one of them responded to me.
Zero.
Ron was the only person who responded to me. And then he was willing to come on our show. So,
besides Rita too.
Well, of course, Rita, but I was just speaking primarily of the content creators, but Rita,
okay.
Yeah, Rita
I do have to give it, I have to stop here. With all this stuff that's been going on, there are only two people who have not gotten into the dirty trenches in all this BS. One of them is Mazza Media, and the other is Tom CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Those two have kept their mouths shut and kept their noses out of it.
Yeah, I have nothing against any of them, though, my dear. I'm just explaining to you guys.
I don't either, but I just wanted to give them props.
Yeah, no, very much so. But I just wanted to let you all know that I did reach out to them and I took that shot because you miss 100% of the chats you never take. So I thought, I'm trying to build a channel. I'm trying to get recognized. I've been in all their chats since March or April. I've talked in their chats. I'm pretty sure they all knew sort of who I was. So when Aiden came at me that day and said, "Who are you?" I thought, well, that's odd because you've actually chatted with me and, before a little bit. And so I've sent you things. So I pretty much think that you sort of know who I am, but maybe not. He may have forgotten who I was, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if anyone knows who I am. I was just taking a shot to see if any of them would consider coming on my channel so I could interview them about what it's like to be a content creator and why Karen Read. Why not Ellen Greenberg? Why not Sandra Birchmore first? Why not a whole number of murder cases in this country first? And I wanted to know that. So unfortunately, Sean was the only one Rita first and then Sean.
Especially with Ellen, it's like there is no way in hell that woman committed suicide.
Oh no, not even close. The corruption there is actually almost worse than Canton because this level of corruption that has covered up Ellen Greenberg's homicide is deep. It's deeper than any of us could imagine or even want to stomach. And I don't know that it will get solved because I'm afraid it's too deep. And I feel absolutely sick for her parents. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the most recent update on Ellen here in a few minutes when we're done covering this. But all I want to say,
get out of here because I'm going to get out of here so I can just watch and enjoy.
And thank you so much, Reality Check, for coming up.
I want Amber to talk more, and every time you put a thing up, it goes across her face, and I can't see her beautiful face.
Don't do it for that reason. You're more than welcome to stay. I'm good.
I know I am, but I want to watch.
Well, you go watch, and we're really grateful for you to come up
love
and
you guys.
Tell your truth. We love you too, Reality Check. Thanks for everything you've done for Karen Read and
Thank you. And I'll come back again. We'll do another talk.
Absolutely. You are welcome anytime.
Good night, everybody.
And you showed your beautiful face. Honestly, I didn't know you were beautiful.
I love you guys.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She's so kind.
She's a very kind human. She has called me every day that I've been in rehab to check on me. She's called me every day since I got COVID to check on me, just like you have. And she's been an immense supporter of John O'Keefe and finding justice for him and for exonerating Karen Read. She has spent countless hours that no one knows about, boots in the cloud, and because she's in South Carolina. So that's why I want to make sure everyone understands what Boots in the Cloud has done for the Karen Read movement and all of the tweets that have gone out. So anyway, back to Sean. Hey, Sean, I hope you're good. If you watch this later, thank you again so much for coming on our show. We were proud to have you. We appreciate everything you've done for the movement. We're sorry that you're taking so much heat when all you've tried to do ever is just tell your truth. You do a little bit of entertainment with your people, which they love, and then you also bring them the hard, cold facts of what goes on in law enforcement, and you've made some amazing observations about this case. So I hope you continue to do you, and I hope you'll come back on our channel when you're ready after the holidays, because we'd love to have you, and we don't mind any of the heat that we've taken for having you as a guest. And for those of you that accused me of doing it for clicks and grifting or whatever, that's utterly insane. Because like I've said from day one. I did not come on here for money. I am not monetized. I did not come on here for clicks. I came on here to show you the corruption that's going on in America and to inspire you to do something about it. I can't possibly go to all your states and help you solve these. I can just tell you about them and show you where they are. So Indiana, we showed you what's going on in Indiana when we brought Ed Byers on. We've been showing you what's going on in Canton, and we're going to show you what's going on in Pennsylvania, and we're going to show you what's going on in Colorado. That's what we're here for. We're not here to actually go out and do it all for you. We're inspiring you to do it because these are your communities. And when it happens in Madison, I'll get on the ground. When it happens in Florida, I'll get out on the ground like I'm about to do with Michelle to try to help her find her missing sister. So you need to go in your communities and you need to root out this corruption, and you need to make a stand like the pink people are doing in Canton. And that's what we are doing here at Social Change Warriors. We're showing you where the crime is in your streets, and we're encouraging you to do something about it. So Amber,
Can we give credit where credit is due too? Because I want to make sure that it's said of all the contributions that Sean has made to this movement and continues to make to this movement without needing any type of recognition or acknowledgement and being shit on. So credit is due where credit is due, right? He's done amazing work, whether you like him, don't like him, whatever, but give the man some props. He's been part of this movement. And when they say, we all need to come together for the good of the movement. And one thing I said, I was like, well, then that includes Sean too. If you really truly believe that, if you said we're a family and we all need to move on, then why aren't you extending an olive branch to Sean?
exactly.
Oh, because the turtle tyrant said you couldn't. Oh, okay.
Well, it's just hypocrisy, which goes on everywhere in the world, unfortunately. And so we read the statement from Jen O'Donnell asking that, Aiden would please back off of the content creators who hosted her on their show, and that all of you turtle riders would back off of them as well. They had every right to host whoever they want on their show. It's a free country. It's their YouTube channel. They rent it from YouTube. They use StreamYard like I do, I would assume, or maybe one of the other streamers. But anyway, so I wrote this on Twitter a couple of days ago, and I said, when civil laws, if any, are broken, person A threatens to write an article about person B and post it on their social media. That article paints the person in a negative light and will contain personal info about person B. This threat will not be executed if person B does what person A wants them to do. And then I said, what say you, social change warriors? Obviously, this is unethical, but is it illegal? So we're going to talk about that after the holidays. I've been doing some research on libel and defamation of character and what is blackmail. And so there's a lot of interesting things going on now. The side shows.
As a preview, just give the definition of blackmail and how that fits in with your tweet.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Listen, people, this is criminal blackmail to demand money or another benefit from someone in return for not revealing compromising or damaging information about. So if the benefit you're receiving does not have to be monetary, the benefit you're receiving is that they're not going on other people's shows and promoting people you don't like. The benefit is that you can continue to manipulate, and then you threaten them. That's called blackmail.
Yeah.
You threaten to release information about them, blog about them, compromising information. I have this video, I have this blog that I'm going to release. It's no different than revenge porn.
And it's hard to prove, but like I said, for the most part, it's highly unethical. It does not make you a good human to do things like this. You should be able to get your message out and get your word out, and you should be able to disagree with people like adults and not have to slam and not have to slam their families. Yeah, and not have to resort to name calling and disclosing personal information about their families when their families have nothing to do with any of this. So
Katie says you can't always hide behind the First behind the First Amendment, because that's what they like to say. It's my First Amendment. I can blog if I want to blog. That's not the issue. You can blog about whoever you want. You can say whatever you want. It's the coercion and it's the manipulation and it's the demands that gets it to that other level, in my opinion.
Right, right, exactly. So, hypocrisy is something we're dealing with right now amongst everything that's going on. Ever since the dinner party, which the Reeds had every right to hold a dinner party for their friends and family. What confused me is why keep it secret until the last minute when you knew from the get-go you weren't inviting boots on the ground? Why not just make that public and explain to everybody this is what we're doing and why? Now, again, you don't have to do that. You're allowed to do whatever you want to support your daughter who's going through hell. So I am not going to be in a second of judgment against the Reeds or their family or anyone that put this event on for them. But sometimes you have to think outside the box. You have to think out beyond yourself. And I think if they had done that, they would have realized that they would have done themselves a much bigger favor by making it public that they were going to do this, and that this is why we're only inviting 200 people. And we are planning to do something for you, boots on the ground, at a later date. I think that could have avoided all this. So that's where I was confused. And then I was a little disappointed at some of the content creators' reactions to Rita and Jen and many of the other boots on the ground. They had every right to get their feelings hurt. You spend that amount of hours and that amount of time of your own goodwill, volunteering, donating, when the content creators are getting paid to do their job. When you're getting paid to do your job, sure, you can win awards. Sure, you can get kudos for it. But it's not the same as when you're a volunteer and you're not getting a damn penny to do what you do. So
We're going in
people
the
just need
negative
to,
and losing money as well, Kat, taking time off from work, days
right,
off from work,
right,
donating their own money. So they're going in the negative. And it's not that let's be clear here. They don't care about really a prayer emoji or an actual dinner. They didn't expect or want anything. It felt like a snub to them, and they're entitled to those feelings. And like you said,
absolutely,
it's the reaction back that got it for me, right? It
right.
was I understand how you're feeling. This was not the intention. We want to make sure everybody knows how much we do appreciate you, and we will be planning something bigger. Like you said at the end, that would have been the appropriate reaction. Instead, everybody got defensive and was like patting themselves on the back and getting these big heads that, oh no, I deserve to be there. I've contributed enough to Karen Reed, and it's like to do with that. It was the fact that they felt snubbed, whether it was intentional or not. That's how they felt.
Right. And everybody's entitled to feel any way they want to feel when something happens and when something occurs in your universe and it makes you feel a certain kind of way. You don't have to like justify that to anybody. That's how you feel. And the fact that many of them felt the same way, that even shows you more cause to that this should have been thought about a little bit better and handled a little bit better. So, that was just one of the many things that have gone on in the last 3 weeks that have caused hurt feelings and caused back and forth dialogue and people getting kind of mad and mean towards each other, which is just, really sad. And it's a shame. And it takes away from what the whole point is that everybody that's been part of this movement believes that there is corruption in Canton and that there is dirty cops in Canton and that there is a cover up in Canton and a frame job of Karen Reed. So that's what everybody started following this case for. And then all of a sudden it became a content creator's haven, which I guess that's just the way of the world now. And so, but when that happens, the content creators still need to stay humble. They need to remember where they were a year ago. Go back and look at your channels and see what you were talking about a year ago. You were not talking about Karen Reed. You were not talking about John O'Keefe. Maybe Aiden was because he was right there in the center of it, but the rest of you sure weren't. And so, go back and look at your roots and look where you came from and be thankful that so many people care to listen to what you have to say.
That's going into the reason why I was kicked out of that Facebook group. Was I honestly had nothing to say about that dinner personally.
Amber, Amber, I just want you to tell this story. I'm just going to let you know. I have to stand up a minute and stretch out my knee.
Yes.
So I'm going to block my camera, but I am here and I'm listening to every word you're saying. And I'll be right back on with you when I get done stretching.
Okay, go ahead. You do what you have to do. The reason why I got kicked out of the group is because I saw Rita post something about Karen's good now. Her and her lawyers can handle this, and about basically how she was feeling. And I defended her respectfully, without curse words, and I think very intelligently, if I don't say so myself. Um, but there was nothing that could be said back but to kick me out. I was blocked from the group, the one that I contributed and was with. And it is what it is. I don't want to be a part of anybody that doesn't want me there. But honestly, I think people did want me there. There were a lot of people that I had good discourse with. Um, I just think maybe, let's say the real reason is because I called Turtle Princess out. I don't know. I don't really care. But the point is that you want everybody unified. Stop the hypocrisy, because that's not what's happening. If you want everybody unified, unify everybody. That's what a true leader does, right? They de-escalate it when it gets hot, not escalate it. And so that's what happened with that issue. That irritated me. That myself and very few people had the cojones to validate the feelings of boots on the ground. And there's one other thing I do want to say is that I appreciate Mike Crawford of the Young Jerks. We had a little discourse going back and forth, respectful, because he was one that took it personally, like as if it was an attack against him because he was a YouTube creator and he was able to go to that dinner and felt slighted back. I suppose he was the one that was going probably the hardest at Rita at that time. And I will, like we said, give credit where credit is due. I said some things to him. He said some things back to me, just conversing about the issue, what his thoughts were, and me saying, but see it from this point of view as well. And I was very happy to see that he called her up and apologized to her and took ownership of his part, because that was something I said. Even if you think that you're correct, about 90% of it, take accountability for the 10% that you contributed to the situation. I was very proud that he at least did that. He's backtracked a little on things, but I get it. I get it's really hard, and I get how good Aiden is at it, like manipulating people. And I understand what's going on. I see what's happening. I'm not dumb. This was a concerted effort against Sean to get him out of the movement, and anybody else that sticks up for him. Aiden is just as much as responsible, if not more so, to contributing to this divide. And there wouldn't be a divide. And you know what? Actually, I take that back. I'm happy there's now a divide, because I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be associated with vulgarness and vileness and disrespect. And I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of that. If that's what the movement is, and that's what I said, I was like, I'm out then. Because if you're the self-proclaimed leader of the Karen Read movement, Aiden Carney, and you continue to behave the way you are, and it's not refuted by anybody within that movement, higher up than you, I suppose, then that means I'm affiliating with trash. I'm not calling him trash. I'm saying what he does is trash. Let's make that very clear. And I don't want to be a part of that. However, that being said, you're not going to kick me out. Here's the thing, right? I'm still an activist. It's in my heart. It's genuine. It's like in my blood. So I can do my activism in lane A, and you can do yours in lane B. Okay. And there could be 2 people in my lane A, and there could be 100,000 in your lane B. I don't care. I'm happy with my 2 people, because those are my people. That's what I want to associate with. Hi, Kat,
Wow.
You're back.
Well, that was an amazing. I loved what you just said. It was so great. I heard every word. It was fantastic. You are so good at explaining yourself and letting people know your truth. And I just loved that. let me see. I want to catch up to the chat box here a minute. Let's see. I love the Warrior Princess of Snark. Yes, we do, KD. We love our Warrior Princess of Snark. She is the best. Julie.
It was pretty much the only one that was fitting.
Julie, craziest person on earth. Me too. I think it'll do more good than not. I'm thinking I might have lost that in translation, Julie. I'm not sure which part of that you were talking about. Do you know, Amber?
Maybe the divide, that it'll in the long run do more good than not.
I see now. KD scaring people quiet, and then that's or it could have been she was saying me too. I think that could be. Julie. Okay, let's see. Julie again. Amber, I have a question.
Divide the movement, yes.
Yes. Has anyone heard directly from Karen Read about this behavior towards the Free Karen Read people or the O'Keefes? I don't know.
That I'm aware of.
Because we're not in that circle, so we don't have any kind of a direct, line to her or her camp. So I have no idea.
I put a public plea out there on my post when I was so outraged and just said, Mr. Read, if you actually do see these posts, how did you feel when Proctor belittled and demeaned your daughter?
Right.
With the words that he spoke about your daughter. Aiden Carney is doing the same things to every daughter of this movement, and we're just as important. And that's how I feel. So if you want to denounce it for somebody being a pig towards Karen Read, then denounce it all the time for everybody being a pig to every woman that doesn't deserve it.
Exactly.
I don't care if you're like the president of the United States or if you're, somebody that's living on the streets. You're no better.
Yes. Oh, hi. Hang on, Amber. I'm going to break for a minute to talk to my nurse.
Okay, no worries. You do what you have to do. We got this. We make the show goes on. We're professionals, right? I don't believe that Miss Karen Read has made any kind of public statement. I somewhat understand the position that she's in and how it is not conducive. She's kind of in a hard place. But it makes me wonder three different things. And I'm just being honest here, okay? I go, why wouldn't she denounce herself from this? And I thought, well, one, maybe it's accurate what Shawnee on the Golf says, and Aiden has something on her. Maybe he's threatened her like he's threatened all of us too, to keep her quiet or keep her in line and keep himself in control.
Who knows? I really think at this stage of how crazy everything's gotten and all the things that are coming out a little bit, more people, day by day, people are getting braver and willing to come out and say, hey, I don't agree with this. I don't appreciate this. Kind of like what I'm putting up here is that you're never, ever going to see any of these words on our channel. You'll never hear us refer to any woman or man by any of these names, because it's just not acceptable. And even if someone is not on your side, if someone believes that John O'Keefe was hit by her car because that's just what they believe, that's where the evidence takes them and that's where they're sticking with, well, then that's their right. They have every right to think that. And they don't get to be called a whack job and a clown and a boomer patrol and a retard and hysterical and stupid because they think that. They have just as much a right to think that Karen hit him with her car when she was drunk and mad as we do to think that the Alberts and the McCabe's were mad at John for whatever reason, something he uncovered. That's what I'm leaning with. I know other people have their theories. I'm leaning with that John found something out and that he pissed off Brian Albert and that they wanted to beat him up that night and teach him a lesson. There was no way in my mind, I believe that was a premeditated murder. I don't think they ever intended to hurt John that way. I think it was supposed to be hey, you want to fuck with me? You want to do this? Well, then here, boom, boom, take a couple punches, bang, bang, as little Albert says. But I don't believe in a million years that Karen Read had a temper tantrum and drove 24 miles an hour backwards and hit John with her car. The science just doesn't support it. His injuries don't support it. But I'm not going to call you a clown. I'm not going to call you the C word. I'm not going to call you a ratchet because you don't agree with me. I have been having such respectful conversations with so many people on Twitter that totally think that this is what happened, that Karen was drunk and she was mad and she was pissed off and she ran him down. they don't agree with me, but we have continued to have discourse. We have continued to debate. I've had some great debates where we've shown each other's evidence from the trial, and we go there and we debate. And I've enjoyed meeting these people. I don't think they're right. And one of the ladies and I have agreed that if it ever does come out, if the truth ever actually comes out where it can be proved beyond a shadow of a doubt who killed John, that we would apologize to the other. So you can still get along with people you disagree with. You do not have to call them names. I understand that what he's got going on separately, Aiden, with these women who he, by the way, used to work for him and he used to date. So Kate Peters was his employee. Lindsay, he used to date her. He's got issues with them and they've got issues themselves. Everybody in that little circle needs to get some counseling. They need to fricking get some counseling right now and get their lives under control, because all they're doing is suing each other, calling each other names, using Karen Read's good name and John O'Keefe's death as their reason to go at each other. I find it completely absurd and unacceptable.
Well said. Very true. Amen. And they use, the other thing is like Canton's being bled dry by the amount of money being paid to the cops in their town, as well as probably the upcoming lawsuits and the audit and all of these things like that. But then you have like fools, and I will say fool. Okay, that I'm sorry. If you act like a fool, you're not a fool, but you're acting like a fool. But when people act foolish and use the legal system to play games and attack each other, it's like that's your wasted tax dollars right there. Like, I don't want to pay for your nonsense. Like, knock it off, grow up. If you're the same person at age 40 that you were at age 20, you need to rethink your life.
Maybe worse. I mean, some people get worse with age. They do not get better. They get worse. And as an adult, you have to decide who you want in your friend circle, who you want in your colleague circle, who you want around you. That's your decision. You get to make that. And that's why, like I was saying, Turtle Riders, you can be Turtle Rider. Go ahead. I'm not criticizing you. If that's the kind of language you like, if you like to talk about people like that and make fun of people and call them out for having wrinkles or Boomer Patrol or any of these other names, if you're all good with that, then good, stay in your lane. Like Amber just said, you can be lane A, we'll be lane B, and we don't give a flying F how many subscribers we have. We love the ones we have and we appreciate you, but we're not on here to gain subscribers. We are on here to make the communities aware of what's going on. You don't have to subscribe to me. As long as I've made you aware that there's crime in your town and maybe you're going to go do something about it, just write me an email and tell me what you did. Let me know what you did and that you got a town standout going, and then I'll talk about it on our channel. I don't need you to subscribe. I'm not on this for the money. So you guys have to be very careful when you decide to follow a subscriber. Make sure they're legitimate. Make sure they're actually not blowing smoke up your asses and the whole smoke and mirrors game. But if that's your game and if that's the way you like to behave is the way he behaves, then you found your hero. You go ahead, have him. He's yours. I'll stick to my own heroes in life. And they don't use words like this on a daily freaking basis. So, Amber, were you able to tell everything about what you wanted to say? Because I want to give our one more Warrior Princess of the Week award out. But my darn thing keeps moving around. Sorry, guys. My mouse stopped working. And this is a really good friend of mine gave me this little computer here, this ProBook. And I'm very touchy on this keypad, but I'm trying to get to where I want to get. And I need to put this off the screen. I want to give our Princess Warrior of the Week. Our first one went out to Michelle, Sarah's sister. And Sarah's the one who is missing. She is our victim this week, last week and this week, who is missing in Florida. And we're trying to draw attention to her case. The police have kind of let it sit. And she's been missing for 1.5 years. And her sister has been tirelessly, and I mean tirelessly, handing out flyers, boots on the ground, posting them everywhere in town. We talked with her last week. We're going to talk with her again next Thursday, so we can try to rally up some people in Florida. When I get done with this knee rehab and get this COVID behind me, I'll be going back to my house in Florida. and I will go boots on the ground there with Michelle. So it'll be my first time doing that since I started Social Change Warriors. So I hope to do some lives from Ocala. But this girl needs to be found. That there is absolutely no reason why somebody should go missing in our country, point blank, vanish out of thin air. It's just not acceptable. And we wanted to give our first Princess Warrior of the Week to Michelle. Our second one went to Jen O'Donnell for all of the work she's done for Canton, for all the times that she took out of her life and from her family to go to those meetings and talk to that select board, who are completely, in my mind, unworthy of being on a select board, should never have been elected in the first place. Whatever Canton, whatever you have to do, vote, vote, vote. That's all you can do, is vote them off. But I want to give an extra Princess Warrior of the Week out to the amazing and intelligent doctor who has proven time and time again her worth. Why does an expert witness who has done nothing but serve the people in her communities her entire freaking life, from being a police officer to being an ER doctor, to being a specialist, to being an expert witness. I'm trying to go back to, yeah, that is where I didn't have her picture. Darn it. I thought I put her picture in here, but I didn't. But all of you, right now I'm spacing out on her name because I have a fever. So Amber, help me out, please. Oh, Amber's gone. I lost her for a minute. She's back.
Going pee. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're fine. I just can't remember the name of the doctor, and I know it, but I have a fever.
Oh, Dr. Marie Russell. Marie Russell.
I'm fighting COVID, so I have no memory of her name, but she's getting our Princess Warrior of the Week award, an extra award, because of her amazing ability to stand up against these idiots who are trying to put down her career. And when I've been on Twitter, if anybody puts down this woman, who is to me like my hero, she was a police officer before women were even really allowed to be police officers. They weren't even allowed to carry guns. They made them wear skirts. Yes, they did in the 70s. One of my instructors at the police academy in Madison was one of the first Madison police officers in Madison in the 70s, when they made them wear dresses basically and skirts, and they could not carry a gun. They were limited to what cases they could work on, primarily just cases that had to do with children and women. So policing has come a long way for women, and Dr. Russell is amazing. The amount of time she spent in hospitals and in the ER, the fact that they are roughing her over the coals and trying to make her out like a liar literally makes me sick. There's so much about this Karen Read trial and the death of John O'Keefe that has made me feel sick and ill. But this behavior of this woman, of Marie Russell, is ridiculous. So thank you, chat, for helping me out. I knew her name, but I got to tell you, when you have COVID, it is not fun. A lot of you have had it. I have not. It's my first time. And of all the places to get it is in a rehab facility with my knee still under heavy rehab. So I apologize that my brain isn't really working as well as I would like it to be working. But anyway, so as you know, I think Mazza Media was going live tonight. In fact, he's probably live right now. I'll watch it on replay because I'm sure he's going to talk about what she was talking about with John's sweatshirt, which I find to be very fascinating because I don't recall this coming out. And thank you, Officer O'Keefe, for your service, for everything you did in the line of duty and everything you did for your niece and nephew outside the line of duty, for being what seemed to be like a really good all-around great guy. And I'm very sorry that your life was cut short. But according to Dr. Russell, and let me see if I can, I want to go back to it, that I believe today, and I didn't know you were back.
That's okay. Can I read something, if I can find it really quick, about Dr. Marie Russell that
yes, of course,
Randy Churchwell tweeted, and of course I can't find anything when I'm looking for it.
Oh no, go ahead and do it.
Oh Lord have mercy. Let me search. I'm so old.
No, it's okay. What they were talking about today is that she pointed out that the cloth on the sweatshirt shows where the teeth came out of the sweatshirt. And I don't ever recall that being said in the first trial at all. So I believe that's been I haven't been on social media much today. I've been sleeping a lot today, but I'm pretty sure that's what Mazza was going to cover. So I think if you guys all get a chance, you should probably watch him on replay and he'll tell you more because he's probably had time to look it up. But that's what I was got wind of when I did a quick search of what was going on with Dr. Russell.
Found it. It's really funny and snarky, so I love it.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, it says, Dr. Russell, here's my 4,295 page CV and my decades of experience and all the accomplishments I've had and the boards I sit on and the fellowships and my awards and degrees. Commonwealth says, not qualified. Trooper Paul, I took a 1-week class and my foreign language is crime scenes. Commonwealth, expert for show. I thought that was hilarious.
That's really good. Yeah, so I think she did a great job. The little bit that I was able to see, she stood up and just continued to double down that this is how I feel. This is why I believe this. Those are definitely dog wounds. Those are not wounds from a taillight. And so I was really proud of her. I don't think we have to be proud of her, I think, but we can be in a sense as a woman, we can be proud of her for handling that dressing down that they tried to give her 3 times in a row. And Judge Beverly for even allowing this is ridiculous. I just can't even get over it that they would dare bring her on again when they went through that whole voir dire before to allow her in the first place. What is she? Did she get less knowledgeable in the 4 months or 5 months?
You know what's funny is that it's like I think they just want to bleed Karen Read dry of money. And imagine she's spent over $5 million in legal fees, and this is what they're doing. This is what the state has behind them. When they want to get you, they can get you. And I mean, it's just insane that she's having to jump through a million hoops to defend herself and spend millions of dollars and be out of work and not have a license, not be able to drive and not have the medical insurance that she had when she was working with all of these medical conditions that she has going on. It's sad to me. It's very, very scary that the state has all the money, all the resources.
Right.
And imagine if she's going through it this hard, imagine just anybody else. That's why people take deals so quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are convicted of things or have served time in prisons and jails that are innocent.
Yes.
And you say, well, you're not innocent because you pled guilty. Do you think they have $5 million and then they're going to up it to murder? Sometimes people just cut the deal. Karen Read is a warrior princess too for not.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the meantime, through all this clown show and theater of the absurd, as I like to call it, hang on, Amber, I have to pause for just a second.
What are you playing now, honey?
Oh, hi, dear. Just a second. Let me mute.
Take your time. She probably has the nurse with her. Kat is a warrior. Look at this woman going live with COVID, with knee surgery in the rehabilitation facility, and still doing it because she has genuine passion and care. And that's why I'm on board with Kat, because real knows real. Let me tell you, some of these people are not real. Just gonna leave it at that. John O'Keefe is such a handsome man, and it's such a tragedy what happened to him. I honestly feel like Sean on the golf connected with him a lot, you know. No, they are not. What's no, they are not, Julie, craziest person on earth? Clarify what you're talking about, because I might have just forgot what I said 1 minute. And I'll continue on with what I was talking about the criminal justice system and how it's designed to good people. You're right. See, I did forget what I said 1 minute ago. They're not all good people, right? A lot of these people are self-serving and opportunists. It's the truth. And I'm okay with anybody making money for the time that they give and what they do. That's absolutely to be expected. We should be reimbursed for our efforts, our work, our time. Just make sure you keep integrity when you're doing it. and always do the right thing. That's what happens too much. We have a lot of groupthink. We have people that are scared and they go along to get along. There's not many Jen O'Donnells in this world. There's not many people that can put their neck out on the line to say their truth. And yes, I will say, I want to just say her, I'm going a little off topic, but her delivery was Jenish. You know, we are who we are. It came out a little sideways. I get it. Maybe the delivery could have been better. She could have said it more eloquently. But that's Jen, and that's why we love her, because in all reality, she was just giving Turtle Boy a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. And so to criticize her for doing 1/100th of what he does is like pot calling the kettle black, right?
For sure. Well said. Well said. So I have to tell everybody, I'm just hit a milestone. Apparently, I've been trying to wean off the pain medication. Even though I have COVID, I just want to get weaned off of it. So I've been going from every 4 hours in the hospital to here to every 5 hours. And then that had to stay that way for quite a few days because this knee pain is no joke, guys. But now I try to go to 6 hours. And so I thought I was in my window between 5 and 6. And the nurse just came in and told me that I went like 7 hours without a pain pill. So now I'm in my new aura now of I'm going to make it 7 hours all day tomorrow and the next day without a pain pill. And then hopefully I'll go to 8. And then from there, just completely wean off, because that's how you have to do it. You don't want to just be in pain because then you can't rehab yourself. But I also my stomach doesn't like those pills. And if I wasn't in this much pain, I would have already tried to wean off of them, but it's just too much. So you have to do what's best for your rehab and for your getting better quality of life too, with pain meds when you have surgery. And I'm sure a lot of you that have had surgery can attest to this, but she just told me she was proud of me. So I just love her. She's one of my favorite they're all my favorite nurses. This place is one of the nicest places you could ever be at if you need to rehab, or if your family needs assisted living. People here in the Madison area, this place is amazing. I don't want to give out their location over the live stream, but DM me on Twitter or email me, and I'm happy to share with you if you ever want to know if your family ever needs rehab or assisted living. This place is phenomenal. They are so great. So in the meantime, while all this is going on, John O'Keefe still doesn't have any justice. His mother, his father, his siblings, his family, we still don't have justice for John O'Keefe. So let's pray in the next 6 months to a year that this man who lived a good life, wasn't trying to really ever bother anybody, lived an exemplary life in a lot of ways, because of the career he chose and the fact that he chose to take care of his niece and nephew. And his life was cut short by some type of a violent event that we still don't know for sure how it happened. We only can speculate and go off the evidence. But I will continue to pray for his justice that he deserves. And I don't know if any of you got a chance or took the time, but this is his obituary, and I'm going to have Amber read it because I'm about to lose my voice, but I thought we owed it to him to read his obituary because I don't know that many of you had the opportunity or the chance to do so.
You, as much as I love seeing the praise, keep it coming, keep it coming. Could you mind taking that comment off the screen so I could see the whole thing?
Yes.
I'll start while you do that. O'Keefe John J. III, JJ, Boston Police Department of Canton, formerly of Braintree, passed away suddenly on January 29th, 2022 at the age of 46. Born and raised in Braintree, John graduated from Braintree High School and later Northeastern University. He then went on to earn his master's degree in criminal justice from UMass. John was a Boston police officer for the past 16 years, a devoted son, brother, uncle, godfather, cousin, and friend. John will be sorely missed by all who were blessed to have known him. John was the loving uncle and guardian of K and P of Canton, dear son of John and Margaret O'Keefe of Braintree, devoted brother of Paul O'Keefe and his wife Erin of West Bridgewater, and the late Kristen O'Keefe Furbush, and her late husband Stephen Furbush. beloved uncle to Reese and Ryan O'Keefe, dear godfather to Addison and Benjamin, also survived by many aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. Relatives and friends are respectfully invited to attend visiting hours on Sunday, February 6th from 3 to 7 p.m. at St. Francis of Assisi. Did I say that right?
Assisi.
Church.
Mhm.
Assisi.
Yeah.
And that was in Braintree. And they celebrated a funeral mass. We celebrated that Monday at 11:30 at St. Francis of Assisi Church. Burial will follow in Blue Hill Cemetery, Braintree, arrangements under the care of so-and-so. And there were directions on the cartwrightfuneral.com where you could leave a sympathy message for the family.
Thank you, Amber. That was very beautifully read. And I thought it was very important that we read that and that we don't forget that even though we are trying to exonerate Karen Read, we believe she was wrongly accused. John O'Keefe died and he's not with this family anymore and he doesn't get to experience life anymore because of whatever tragic event caused his death on that night, which most of us believe was some type of a fight that happened inside the house. So we will continue to support Karen, but we on Social Change Warriors, we're not going to be part of the Turtle Riders anymore. Too much negativism for me personally, also for my channel, because we just don't believe in that kind of actions. We just won't stand for it. So
it's toxic, and sometimes you just have to cut the cancer out. Like we don't want that as part of any of us, any of the toxicity.
And I know that they don't care one way or the other because, again, my channel is very small and Amber and I will continue to do what we do. We will continue to call out crime and we'll continue to stand for victims of crime and murder and domestic violence. And we'll do it in our own lane. But I do hope that there will be justice for John and that Karen will be freed. And I'll continue to tweet about her. And if news comes up, we will definitely share it on our channel. Because this is not the face of someone that is about to murder someone. Okay, people, this is their greeting in the bar, the waterfall. They're hugging each other. You can see the look on her face is genuinely, I'm happy to see you. So I don't buy the whole they got in a fight and she was mad and backed up and ran over him. I don't buy it. I never did and I never will. So I just hope to God that all the truth can come out and the right people can finally get arrested and he and his family can get some justice. So we'll continue to cover this case. And I believe this was something that I had put up. This was supposed to be more at the beginning of the deck when we were talking about all the things that some of the content creators were spewing at us, asking us why we didn't come to standouts and what have we done for Karen Read and how much money have we donated. And I covered all that. So if you're interested in what we have done, which we've done plenty, you can go and watch our live stream from Wednesday night. But this was supposed to be up there. This was just something that I was chatting with some of the other, who I call the boots in the cloud. And we were trying to brainstorm what's it going to take to get a transcript of the Karen Read trial. And it's a big runaround apparently. And I still haven't figured out because I ended up got called off the waiting list to have my knee surgery right when I was sending these. So I have to figure this out yet because I do want to try to get my own transcript of the Karen Read trial. But I was told by one entity to contact one entity, then that entity said, no, you have to contact this one. And so I was getting like the runaround basically. And I think that's when I was on with Boston Tom and Mike. We were kind of talking with each other and trying to let's figure out how we can get our own transcript of the trial and we can go over it and pick it apart. So that's something that extra that I was doing on the side, but all the other things that we did at Social Change Warriors to support John and Karen, you can check it out on our Wednesday live that's in our library. This is Ed Byers. I just wanted to let you know he's coming back. There's breaking news in Indiana regarding Clark County and all the crime that Ed helped uncover there. And I'm super proud of this man because he told them for years what was going on. And he even ran for office himself to try to roost out the criminals. And no one believed him. And they were so deep in corruption there that the people that did believe him weren't going to do anything about it because they were too deep in. And so he he was finally able to bring it all into the light with help from others. And now there's some updates that he wants to give us on some potential new arrests. 6 more officers have been relieved of their duties in Clark County. So he will be back with us after the holidays. He's got family and activities going on. So he'll be back. I have the live stream already there set up to go. So you'll be able to find it. And I'll remind everyone in our Twitter and Instagram and on our socials what day that is. I think it's that first week in January that Ed will be back with us on a Thursday for calling out corruption. So we'll look forward to speaking with Ed again. And so that's just some extra, these are just photos of, this is the sheriff that was finally arrested. And we'll kind of remind you of what Ed told us about, which was many months ago already now, but we'll go over that when we do our live with Ed after the holidays. So this is just some more slides of this was one of my favorites that Amber and I actually made a copy of and made a poster of and brought it with us on our standout in Madison. Karen Reed was framed by LE. Sandra Birchmore was murdered by LE. Justin Root was executed by LE. DA Morrissey buried it all. WTF. So that was a great sign that was at one of the Canton standouts. And I actually went on Twitter and asked this person if I could use this, and she said yes. So we made copies of it and had it at our standout here in Madison. This is just some meeting notes that we had taken with Rita that I just put in here for a later date. I just like to save important things on the deck. So this was more of Rita and the Canton elections and Justin Root and Sandra Birchmore, who we've been standing for. This is a meme that I made when I did my documentary on domestic violence. About 20,000 phone calls on the average are made in a typical day for domestic violence calls. And there's also the other form of domestic violence, which is verbal. Many domestic abusers will start out with verbal abuse and taking control over the money, making you quit your job, making you stop talking to your friends, on and on. So there's a lot with that. And a lot of the victims that we're standing for right now, I believe, were murdered by their domestic partner. And then, of course, there was Enrique that we haven't done a show about Enrique yet. He's had a lot of the content creators covering his case. So I haven't been able to fit him in yet. Not that I don't want to, because I am totally heartsick that this would happen in a training facility for law enforcement. I've been in a training facility for law enforcement for in-services and for police academy, and there's just utterly no excuse for this to happen. So we will definitely speak of him, and we have been tweeting out about justice for him, and we'll continue to do that until he gets his justice. But we will plan a show in January, Amber, so we can talk about him a little bit and give him the true coverage that he really deserves and his family deserves. And this is just despicable. What's just on and on, what's going on.
We need more answers. We need a lot more information and answers in that case.
Yes. That's just a travesty, an absolute travesty. So something I ran across, and we're going to cover this in January or February, that child homicide is a leading cause of death and rates are rising. So just let's let that sink in. Between 1999 and 2020, more than 38,000 children ages 17 and younger died by homicide in the United States. The child homicide rate decreased by 5.6% annually between 2007 and 2013, but increased by 4.3% each year since then. So this is absolutely disgusting. And I will be doing some more research about this, and I will be searching for some guests that we can bring in to discuss this ridiculously horrible topic that should never even be something we should have to worry about or discuss. So this will be one of our lives on when we get to January or February. And I just wanted to let you all know about this horrible statistic. So thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight with us live. Thank you for everyone that comes in the replay. Unfortunately, I have to end the show tonight with something that's not super fun to talk about, but we have to talk about it. So we've made it through our 72 slide deck. Number one, I want to encourage everybody, and I think, I'm going to bear with me. I'm just going to pop back to the beginning here. Let me see if it'll let me. Yeah. I have a slide about Ellen Greenberg. There was a court case this week, and the judge didn't make a ruling, so they still haven't let her family know if they're going to rule it a homicide and basically order the police to open the investigation. But what you can do is you can write to the judge. And I put out a tweet today. Here we go. I put out a tweet today where I am encouraging all of you to, not sure, there we go, to please consider this. If you would take a screenshot of this or go to my Twitter X account, Social Change Warriors at DoonCat14, and this is pinned to my account and it will continue to stay pinned. Write a letter to Judge Michael, I think it's Eardors, Philadelphia County Court of Common Plea, Philadelphia County Courthouse, 1339 Chestnut Street, room 532A, and then the rest of the addresses on my Twitter. I asked everybody to please take 15 minutes and write and mail a letter to the judge. Ellen Greenberg was stabbed 20 times by someone she knew. I'm 100% convinced this was domestic violence, and we need to help her family. They have been fighting for years to get this ridiculous unaliving turned over to a homicide, which it rightfully should be. There's no way this young woman stabbed herself 20 times. The evidence does not point to that. The evidence points to her body being moved. It points to one of the wounds being a fatal wound. So there's no way she could have finished the other stabbings of herself, like they're claiming. The uncle of her fiance was allowed in the crime scene and was allowed to take her computer. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Gavin Fish has done an amazing job at reporting on Ellen Greenberg. So find his channel on YouTube. He is spectacular. I've been in contact with him, hoping that he would consider coming on as a guest, but he's a very busy man. So we can cross our fingers, but I'm just grateful for all the coverage that he's given to Ellen and her family. And Brian on News Nation, is it Brian Enton on News Nation? He's been covering this case as well.
I think.
Eaton, yeah. Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to mispronounce your name, but anyway, if you could do that, if you could take 15 minutes out of your day and write a letter and mail it, and we could just swamp this judge with mail in the next 2 weeks before he makes this decision, that would be so much. It would mean so much to her family and her friends and her Facebook page. And please go on the Facebook page, Justice for Ellen Greenberg. Join the page. This lovely girl deserves justice. She did not deserve what happened to her. No one does. No one deserves to be murdered by anyone, regardless of what you say or what you've done to someone. No one deserves that. So I would appreciate it on behalf of Social Change Warriors if you would do that. Also, do not forget about Sandra Birchmore. There are more arrests that need to come in this case. There's only been one now made, which is Matthew Farwell, the person who we believe, according to the evidence, in our opinion, murdered Sandra, because thankfully she kept a diary and she named her abusers. So we're waiting now. We're waiting to see how long it's going to take them to finish arresting more people that groomed her and that treated her so disrespectfully and just the most disgusting behavior possible. Pedophiles, there's no cure for that. And they all need to be in jail for the rest of their lives, the people that abused her and hurt her. Please help us with spreading the word if you're in Florida about Sarah Ebersol, who's been missing for 1.5 years. Like I said, her sister Michelle is relentlessly looking for her and posting missing flyers everywhere. And we had her on our show while I was here in rehab, and we will have her on again next week. Hopefully I'll be out of here by then, and we'll talk a little bit more, break down the evidence, try to get more into it. When you're thinking about standing for victims and volunteering your time and donating your money, do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. And that's one of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt. So unfortunately, we have to end the show with just a small component of something that happened over the course of the last few months with another content creator. And it's very hurtful to me that this even occurred, because I'm still a little dumbfounded as to why it's occurred. But I became friends, and I'm not going to hint at who it is, because this person chose to put me on a live stream and hint about me to the point where there's no way her shorties didn't know that she was talking about me. So I'm not going to be passive aggressive. I'm going to be out with it and say, Lisa, Miss Shorty, I would like you to come on my show, and I would like to talk to you, because I have absolutely nothing against you. I know that you struggle with your autism at times. I can't have empathy for that. I do not have autism, but
Can you make yourself bigger? I want to be able to see you.
Yeah, sure. let's just go away. We don't need the quote anymore. There we go.
There you go.
So Lisa, if you're watching, or if any of your shorties are watching, I would like you to come on the show after the holidays. I would like to talk to you because I thought we were friends, and I don't recall ever doing anything to you that would have led you to believe otherwise. So I was very dumbfounded when you sent me a direct message on Twitter that you were removing me as a mod from your channel. You were very gracious. You were very kind in your communications, but it was while I was on vacation, and you knew I was on vacation because I had just modded one of your shows in the Denver airport while I was on a layover, which I didn't have to do. You had plenty of mods. I could have sat that one out, but I was really trying to be there for you. You were trying to start your channel just like I was. We literally started our channels within weeks of each other. And we met in a chat box on either the Glare or the Young Jerks. I don't recall. You would have to remind me. But you made a post about how nasty your landlord was and how you were potentially going to be homeless. And I wrote to you, and I didn't know you were from Australia. And I wrote to you and said, I used to be a property manager. Maybe I can help you with that. Why don't you DM me? So that's how our friendship started. And I then found out you were from Australia, and I know nothing about the laws of property management in Australia, nor would I feign to know that. But I did tell you how sorry I was for you and how bad I felt. And then I thought we became friends, as much as you can be friends with someone you've never met in person on YouTube or in this case, this Free Karen Read movement. So she
came on your show. You went on her show.
Well,
you were modding for her for months, right?
First of all, she invited me to be a mod, or I volunteered to be a mod. I don't remember. She can remind me because I just don't remember. But either way, it doesn't matter. I thought we were friends. I really liked what she was about. I loved her topics that she was going to cover. I thought we had a lot in common because of what I wanted to cover as a social change warrior and what she was trying to do with her shorties. I really felt that our two channels could work together and be collaborative. And I wanted to do that. And so she invited me, or I volunteered, but I was moderating for her channel. I went to as many as her lives as I possibly could. Then I decided to start my channel. She came to my shows. She invited me. I was on one of her shows. We were talking about domestic abuse. I was very proud to be on her show and happy to be able to lend my expertise on that topic. Then I invited her on one of my shows to lend her expertise, and I just thought we were building a relationship. I was invited into their Discord group. I felt very welcome there. I was really enjoying my connections with many of the other shorties. Two of them were my mods as well, because she asked them, her friends, to be mods for us. And I really meant the world to me. And they both know that because I told them that multiple times, how much it meant to me that they were willing to mod for a nobody, for a channel that no one knew about. And then out of the blue, because I decided to have Sean on my channel, not only, first she told me she didn't want me to be a mod anymore. And even though it was polite, the way she addressed it, I was on vacation. I had just modded for her in the Denver airport. Like I said, I had modded a lot of her shows and done my best. I thought my best. And the only excuse I got was that now that I had my own channel, I didn't have time to mod for her. And I wasn't showing up to it, I guess, enough of her shows for her liking. I don't recall. She's got it. She took a screenshot of it. She can show it if she comes on the show. But either way, I didn't understand that. And so when someone just ejects you from your life out of the blue, you're allowed to feel bad. You're allowed to feel a little hurt. So
I was saying to you, Kat, like you were said to her, I just have to say this. You told me that you said to her, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Is there something? And she just said, no, Kat. And that was her response. And I was like, girl, you must have done something bad to her by that response.
I know, because that's the 1 + 1 + 2 says, okay, I'm booted as a mod out of the blue, even though it was respectful and professional. I'm still booted from a mod out of the blue after I had volunteered a lot of hours for her because I wanted to, but it was out of the goodness of my heart that I did it. I didn't get paid to do it. And I'm just booted while I'm on vacation, which was very poor timing on her part. She could have waited and she could have called me. Why does everything have to be in a text message these days with all you people? Call a person, chat.
Apparently breakups are in text message too. She doesn't like that.
Well, I don't get it.
When it happens to her.
So I feel that I had every right to feel bad and that I had every right to be upset. So I sent her a couple DMs saying, what did I do? Like, what exactly happened? Like, what's going on? And I got like no response. I literally got no or one word answers. So she considered that me breaching her boundaries, because I was just simply trying to find out why we weren't friends anymore and why she ejected me as a mod when I didn't feel I really deserved it or I didn't do anything wrong. I just wanted to know
Out
why.
of the blue, when you had not done anything, but that we've learned that apparently she just doesn't like you anymore. She came out and said
Correct. She
that was
actually
the
said
issue, that
that.
she didn't like you.
Yeah, she
But
actually
I
said
thought
that
you
on the
liked her and you love bombed her for months when you needed her, but when you didn't need her anymore, now it's like, you know what, I don't really like you. Cool. If that's what it is, that's what it is, but that's not what you said in the
Hey,
beginning.
not everybody's going to like everybody. And I understand that, but tell me that then. Don't just, when I said, did I do something? And you just said no in a DM. Well, that's not telling me anything. That doesn't give me any closure. Like people, and when you're going to end a relationship with someone, whether it's a friend or a family over elections, like a lot of people have, or just a boyfriend or a girlfriend, let them know why. You don't get to just ghost people. That's not acceptable in this world. Do not just ghost people. It's just messed up. Tell somebody why, and if they can't make peace with that, then that's on them. But at least they know why you did it, why you're leaving them, or why you're exiting them from your life. So anyway, that I stopped DMing, and then I was still in the Discord group, and so I was still chatting in there, being cordial with everybody. I was never rude, nasty to a single soul in her shorties group. And if any of you shorties want to accuse me of anything, you better come on my show, because I thought I was welcome there. I thought you liked me. I thought everything was fine with me being part of the shorties, even though I wasn't a mod anymore. And then something happened with Turtle Boy, and Amber had the audacity to go in one of his chats and make a comment, and he told her to shut the fuck up, and he called her, sorry to swear, YouTube, he called her a fucking idiot. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't get to do that. You don't get to call one of my friends and my second chair on my live stream a fucking idiot. Nobody gets to do that. So I was upset. So I went on the Discord and I asked the shorties to back us up, to back Amber and I up, because we were still supporting her show. We were still going to her lives, even though I wasn't modding. I was still going. I didn't hold anything against her. I let it go. And then
I don't need anybody to fight my battles for me, Kat. But you're like me.
Amber.
You're a good friend. Like when I get more riled up when somebody hurts my friend than I do when they hurt me, you know? So I understood what you were doing, but it's not like I'm like trying to get the entire internet on my side. I could care less. You were just a friend that was like, hey, let's help my friend.
I get that, but that was partially at the time too, where I was just getting sick and tired of all the constant negativism in those chats from the Turtle Riders, and the constant making fun of people and name calling. And I was ready to be done with it. I wasn't going to go on those shows anymore. But then that happened. And then I felt like I was asking a group of women, primarily women. There are some men who are shorties, which is great, but primarily women, to back up other women. And I was told no, that was bringing drama, or whatever verbiage she used. I don't remember, but to her Discord, and her peaceful, quiet Discord, which is fine. I have no problem with that, but you could have handled a little bit better. And then you just completely exited me out of Discord. You gave me no warning. One minute I'm in there talking to people, the next minute I'm out. I'm person non grata. I don't hear from a single shorty. You have suddenly convinced a whole room full of shorties that I am no longer a nice person or a good person, or whatever you've done. I don't know what you've done. And then you somehow convinced Adam, who had become a friend of mine, who I was working with, to make a video for the opening and the exit of Social Change Warriors, into believing that I wasn't going to pay him for his work. Now, that was masterful. I don't know how you did that, but kudos to you for doing it. But you do not get to go on a live show and lie about me. I have never not paid someone for work that they've done for me. I am an honorable person. Adam and I knew exactly what was going on. I was called off a wait list for knee surgery. I had to come up from my house in Florida unplanned and spend money that was unplanned out of my budget. I was gracious to him. I emailed him. I told him what was going on. I told him I still wanted to work with him, and I was so sorry that I had to postpone. He knew I wasn't canceling on him. I never used his work. I didn't sign a contract yet. And I don't know how in the world she convinced him to turn on me like that and live stream. I know he feels bad about it. We have had a conversation. he has apologized to me. I have apologized to him that my personal life got in the way of our making a beautiful video together. But there was nothing I could do about that. I had to take the knee surgery. So that should have never been public. That should have never been broadcast on a live. Amber and I should have never been part of a live stream that was called Fuck Around and Find Out.
Can I preface this first?
Yes.
Can I preface this story first?
Yes.
So apparently, like she cut you out of your life, and I'm going, girl, what did you do? Like, what, sometimes I've done things to people and I don't have bad intentions, and I just don't know any better. And then I'm not involved, right? I've only seen a few of her shows. I have nothing against her. I wrote her a very kind message on Facebook in
yes, you did.
like August or September, just to tell her that I was supporting her. I saw a lot of the things that she put on Facebook. And she had not written me back, but to give her credit, she said it went to the spam folder. So,
and it can go to spam. That happens all the time.
Yes. Yeah. So that's not an issue. But I had become friendly. I had come on to Social Change Warriors. I had become friendly with some of your mods, Ernie Birdie and Sarah and Shock and Horror, who were very, very nice people, contribute a lot to this movement. I have no issues with them, but it was weird to me because I never had an unkind word for them. And it, like you said, it just seemed like we were person non grata. Like Shorty must have said, don't speak with them or something. So I was in a chat and I'd be like, hey, how you guys doing? And I'm just like crickets, or I'm being called a bot, or I'm like, all of these things. And so after it happening multiple times, and then I said something and we were friendly with Adam. Adam had come on like the show. I had seen a lot of his work. I had told him how talented he was. Yeah. You were friends with him. I was beginning to become like friendly with him. And so I saw him in a chat and I saw people talking to him, and I'm like, hey, hi, Adam. And I thought that he was ignoring me. And out of frustration, after being called names, after being, pretty much exiled because we supported a friend, supported Sean, out of that frustration, I responded with kind of like a snarky comment. You'd expect nothing less from me, but the old ball and chain made you stop talking to me too? Not you, Adam, like something along those lines. And it was directed right at him because I'm pretty sure I put like at Adam in his tag.
I think you did.
Yeah. So apparently he didn't see it because he was out of the chat at that moment. So, but somebody took a screenshot of it and then deleted it because I didn't delete it, and sent it to him and got them. Whatever happened, I don't know. But apparently, if you call somebody the old ball and chain, like that gives them the ability and a right to come and FAFO you. Okay. Right. So I'm in a chat having, oh, poor cat. I can tell you're not feeling well. We'll wrap this up.
I've been feeling this way. I would have felt this way regardless if we lived or not. I appreciate all of you willing to put up with me looking like this and being sick, because I would have I'm quarantined in this room, you guys, and I am a little bit claustrophobic. I'm not even allowed to have my freaking door open. And they only pop in to give me food and they run out. And then they pop in to give me my medicine and they run out. Nobody's like conversing with me or talking to me. So I appreciate being able to be live. I would be feeling sick and horrible if I was sitting here by myself. And I have to tell you, I feel a whole lot better getting this off my chest, because I don't like having things like this ride on me. And like I said, I want this behind us. I want to go forward and continue to stand for victims and continue to call out corruption. That's why I came on this live show. I'm like Sean, you guys, I could put this away tomorrow. I could walk away. I'm retired. I served my time. I served in the streets. I did my work. And before that, I held many other jobs. I could put this away tomorrow and just be retired and enjoy my 2 sons and my family and my grandpuppy and my niece and my future therapy dog, because my therapy dog died in July, my Zelda. But I'm not going to do that, because I love helping people. And there's not a lot of things you can do in this world when you have a bad neck and you can't work anymore to help people. But if I can use live stream and YouTube and social media to actually help families that are suffering, I want to do it. So I'm going to keep doing it regardless of who comes at me or who wants to tear me down or make up lies about me and smear my name, I will continue to do this. And Amber, I'm lucky to have you on my team. We've become like sisters. I just love you. And I'm lucky to know Reality Check. I'm lucky to know so many other ladies and gentlemen that I have met through this movement. Like I said, Auntie Deb and so many. I mean, it would take me a long thank you list to write everybody out that I've met in the cloud. All of us that have been tweeting, we've gotten to know each other because we're constantly tweeting each other's tweets and sharing each other's tweets. And I think I'm up to like some number I never thought I could even get to on Twitter, like 3,800 or something like that. And not, again, I don't care about the numbers, but it does impress me that I've been able to stand out for all these people in these last months, and people are following me now, and they're sharing our stuff, they're sharing our victims and sharing our calling out of corruption. And that makes me feel really happy and really proud that I can do just that little bit in this world.
Well, and just to continue with the story, because things have been put out there and I want to make sure that my perspective is put out there as well as Kat's, and from our channel, from Kat's channel's perspective of Social Change Warriors. But continuing on with that old ball and chain, next time I saw Adam, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to say it again, because Adam has always been extremely nice and kind. And I said, hi, Adam. And he like, I can't remember the exact words. I'm sure there was a couple curse words and something in the longs that I was talking shit. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he didn't say anything after that point. And I said something to Kat, and I said, what is he talking about? Because again, like I said, sometimes we can do things and not even realize we're hurting somebody, and that's not the intent.
Right.
And I didn't even
we're
remember
all human. We can all make mistakes and screw up, and then we have to own it and apologize. That's just part of life.
Yeah, and I didn't even remember it because to me it wasn't significant. Like it was just a flippant, like snarky comment, like, "Oh man, the wife's not letting you talk to me either." That's all that was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a chat, JFK show off chat, where it's a very supportive environment. They tend to speak truth for the most part and call things out that aren't right. So I have a lot of respect for them for that reason, JFK and James Jackson. And Shorty comes in like a wrecking ball. And she's just like, FAFO, let's go, girl. And I'm like, am I 13 in middle school? What is going on here? And then I'm talking shit about her all over the internet. And I said, like, what are you talking about? If your skin is that thin from somebody saying the old ball and chain, then you shouldn't be on YouTube, because that really isn't that bad. I was like, and this was snarky too, but I said, it's not like I called you an opportunist. And then second thing I said, well, because when you come at me like that, I can bring out all the snark. That's
you're very quick-witted. You're very quick-witted, Amber. You are so much like my mom.
Julie remembers this. And then I told her, I said, well, maybe you just don't speak American. And I was being snarky then too, because maybe she didn't understand the phrase, because there's different terminology in different cultures and countries. Yeah. So like maybe she thinks that like this is awful, like in Japan or China or something, isn't it like the OK symbol means like F you? So maybe I'm like, maybe I said something really bad in Australian. I don't know. And so we're going back and forth, and I'm just defending myself because I'm like, you are not going to bully me. And then she's like, DM me, girl. And I'm like, okay, I will. But I already did message you few months ago, and with a very nice message that you never responded to. So don't act like, I'm on the internet talking crap all day, every day.
Right.
So I really don't care. So I'm like, okay, I'll DM her, but I didn't know how to DM her because I'm old and like don't know anything about technology. And I'm like, how do I first comment on her thing? I'm like, I can't DM you. I'm trying to DM you. Nothing's happening. She's like, she writes me back and like, you got to follow me back. This first lesson of X. That's how you DM somebody, in case you didn't know. Mm-hmm. So we actually had a fruitful conversation, because I personally like to keep things private. I am not, like Kat said, we are not here for the drama. We are here to do good and altruism. And so let's work it out as adults. Let's talk this out. What is going on? I said to her, we have 3 paths here. Like we can keep going, or I can say I'm sorry for calling you the old ball and chain. And you can say you're sorry for threatening me and coming at me in JFK's chat, and we can just be civil and move on and not speak each other's names. And that's the agreement we came up to. And so still did not get involved in anything. So that's kind of where we were at until the FAFO stream.
Right.
And that's the stream that Shorty decided to have after we had discussed not speaking my name out of her mouth, as I would not for her. And she starts the show off. And it could have stopped there. About everybody thought that show, because it had followed right after our little spat in the chat, thought it was about that. So she said, no, it's not about that. I told that girl to DM me. She DM'd me. We came to a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
She could have stopped there from my personal level, and I would have been fine.
And Amber, sorry to interrupt, but just for context for everybody, I wasn't involved in any of this. I had never said one negative word about Miss Shorty or the Shorties on any of my live streams. Nothing, zero negative. I let it go when she dished me out of Discord because of supporting Sean. I let it go. I did not come after her. All I did was continue to communicate with Adam, her boyfriend, about making the video. And I asked Adam in some emails if he had any clue why I became person non grata and why you were suddenly person non grata, and everybody was angry with us. That was all. I was conversing with Adam privately in an email because I thought he and I had become friends. And so I was not doing anything other than that. I was trying to understand where she was coming from, what was happening with her. This was all private. I didn't make any of this public. I didn't share this with anybody other than you. And I just wanted to let everyone know that I was not part of any of these chat rooms. I wasn't in them. I wasn't going at her in public at all. That was something that you and her were doing at that moment in time.
Yeah. No, Kat had nothing to do with that at all. But then as she's talking in her stream, the next thing she says is she thought it was a flippant, nonchalant, like snarky comment. I thought it was, and I'm paraphrasing, something about her words that I believe she's talking shit, or like the way she made it sound is like I'm on the internet talking shit about her. Like, blow a dog whistle, why don't you? But that's not squashing it. That's not leaving my name out of your mouth. That's bringing it back up and online after you just had this public feud with me for no reason. So again, I'm trying to give her, hold on, it gets worse. Let's move on to the second part of FAFO, which here's the crazy thing. She's talking about, let me preface this with this. She said FAFO in the chat, right? So lovely YouTube algorithms, when she names her thing FAFO, that's the first thing that popped up when I opened my screen. I'm like, I'm not stalking you. I swear to you.
I was staying overnight with you that night. That was right.
Yeah, you were at my house.
Right. That was right before my surgery. And you didn't want to tell me about it because you were kind of stunned that we were part of this. She was calling out some other people that I guess had been threatening her. And then you were stunned that we suddenly became part of that live when we could have handled this between all of us in private. What was going on with her and I and you and Adam was nothing compared to threats being made against her. And I would never condone anyone making threats against her. So if she had every right to make that live if she was feeling threatened by people, but we weren't threatening her. We were never doing anything like that. So why were we included in this very harsh FAFO live stream? And here it is, like the night before my surgery. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So Amber wasn't going to tell me about it because I didn't know anything about it. I was trying to stay off of all of the channels and just relax and prepare my brain for surgery. But Amber felt she had to tell me because
she called you to see you next Tuesday, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now it's on. Like now, how am I supposed to handle that?
Right.
That's uncalled for, because she said that you were emailing Adam and basically I think you said something to him about just be careful, be something along those lines.
I told Adam to watch his back because
Okay.
people aren't always genuine. They don't always come across as they appear to you. And I meant that in general as well, not just Miss Shorty, but there's a lot of shit going on YouTube. Sorry to swear YouTube, but there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of disingenuous people on YouTube. There's liars. There's people that are going to try to dox you, be unkind to you. And he just seems like such a kind soul to me. And I wasn't totally sure he knew what he was getting himself into, but I didn't realize that he'd already been doing his land pirate radio for quite a long time. So he probably did know, and I was just probably being too motherly because I'm practically old enough to be his mom. Maybe not, but
And
definitely
plus you just care
definitely
about
older
people.
sister. So I was just being motherly. I never said one negative, mean thing about Miss Shorty. All I ever did was ask, why was I exited from the community? Why is she calling me names on her channel? Why is she getting the other shorties to not speak to me anymore when I never did anything but be kind to them? It was very hurtful for me, and it was hard for me to take. So that was all that was going on between. I have every email I ever sent to Adam. So if she wants to look at them, I will show them all to her, because she's blowing this all out of proportion, and including us in a fuck around and find out live stream was unacceptable for me and to me as a human being, and for you and for Social Change Warriors to be involved in that.
Yeah, and she said basically that you, she could read between the lines, and that you were, calling her by your email to Adam. You were calling her a "see you next Tuesday," and then she's like, "But you're being this," but she says the word, and I'm just like, really? This is, and then they go on about the whole issue with the intro and the outro,
Yeah.
and that.
Well, I don't use that word. First of all, it's never a word that's been in my vocabulary. And even when I was a shorty and they were using it in jest or calling each other the C word, I would always kind of step up and say, ladies, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm old school. I'm Boomer Patrol. We consider that word to be just too harsh and not kind. And so she knows I would never call her that, because I don't use that word. I'll call her a bitch because I can do that, because the Angry Bitch Club is on Wednesdays, and she has elevated herself now to bitch level by the way she's treated me and my channel and you. So I can call her that, but I would never call her the C word. I would never call any woman that.
Well, it was bad. And then they went on to Adam's show to talk about the whole thing, saying you were used to be a mod for her, the new mod for Sean, which you were the newest mod for Sean at that point. Giving all the identifying information that everybody that was associated in any way would know who it was.
Yeah.
And said about you didn't pay, you were supposed to give this money to him, and all of these things. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this other than that you guys were arranging something, and that he's very talented. So
super talented.
Given all of that, even after we're put in an FAFO stream like that, right? Even after everything she said, I'm like, I want to de-escalate this. We're not here for drama. This isn't what we want to do. I'm an adult. I handle conflict like in a healthy manner, like an adult. I don't need this. So I contact her via DM and just say, we said we weren't going to say each other. We weren't going to talk about each other. That's what you said. That's where it ended. What do we do here now? And I'm actually giving her the opportunity to try to make, what do you think is the resolution? You called my friend to see you next Tuesday. You made allegations about me without letting me give my voice or my opinion on my interpretation of the situation. If you're going to put that out there, then at least give me both sides, right? That's only fair. You can have what your interpretation is of things. I said, so that's an option, or, what do we do here? Like, how do we handle this? And then I even went on to say, and if there's whatever, I don't know nothing about the arrangements with Adam. I said, but I will find out and we will make good. That's what I said. Like, even after all of that, because that's what we are, we would never do something like that. And for her to put that out there was completely uncalled for. It was reckless. And then again, I gave her a pass.
Yeah.
Like,
and actually the reason that you didn't know about it is because I wanted to surprise you. Once Adam got the final cut done, we were going to show it to you so you could tell us your opinion and if you wanted changes made. But I wanted to surprise you with his talent and that we were going to have an intro and an outro, because we don't have that yet. We're just a very small channel, but knowing Adam and seeing his work, Yes, fledgling, as we've been called. Knowing his work and seeing what he could do, to me, it was well worth the money. He was giving us a massive discount because we're his friend. And so I was super excited to go forward with it. And then this whole coming off the wait list knee surgery thing happened. So Adam and I are good. We've talked, we've chatted. We're going to go forward with the project as soon as I get out of here and get well. So look for that amazing work that Adam will provide for us for our intro and outro music.
If
and
you're not
video.
aware, that's Land Pirate Radio. He is
Yes,
incredibly talented, has amazing work on his channel.
please
Used to
follow
be Adam
him.
Drives Helen.
Mm-hmm.
So he does great work. But I would say I tried again to resolve it with her, and it somehow, I don't want to read DMs and I don't want to put DMs out there, but it just, there was no reasoning. It just was basically like, I'm allowed to say whatever I want and you guys should just let it go.
Right. You're allowed to accuse me of something I didn't do, and I'm just supposed to be quiet. And I have been quiet this whole time. Obviously, me having surgery and me being here now, and now I didn't get to go home Thursday because this whole place has COVID. So
Yeah, we have
I
better
didn't
things
get a
to
chance
do.
but I will admit that I did something a tad immature tonight. I saw that she was live streaming a show about Adam and her and what telling her truth, which is all her right to do. But it just really ticked me off when I just decided to watch the opening of it. And she's talking about being, this nice person and being kind and not, oh, you'll have to watch it because it was completely hypocritical to how she treated me for what I thought was actually no, obviously apparent reason. So I got up in my feels and I went in the chat box and I said, I didn't appreciate you lying about me on your live show before I had my surgery. I haven't had a chance to obviously, deal with this yet, but I'm dealing with it tonight. I just decided to do it. Well, I think she was a little stunned. And so she doubled down and she said it again on air, defamed me on air, accused me of not paying Adam for a job that isn't even done yet, that I've never used, that I've never aired, that Adam and I have resolved, which was all of her spewing about was none of her business in the first place. She's not Adam's mother. She was his girlfriend. So I do not appreciate liars, and especially when it's about me. So if you ever lie about me, I'm coming for you. I don't tolerate it. I will not put up with it. When you lie about other people, you do yourself a huge inservice and a huge injustice in this world because most people will stand up for themselves and they won't allow it. Now, what you believe or what other people believe now, there's nothing I can do about it. It's out there. She made that happen. She put me out there in a live stream. And if people still want to believe in her lies and nonsense, because she was hurt and up in her own feelings about her relationship and about these other people that were threatening her, which I feel for her. I would never want anyone to threaten me or come for me. But don't involve me in that. Don't involve me in that because you're mad about other people. You could have easily called me and we could have had a conversation about this. I could have easily explained to you what was going on, and it wasn't really your job in the first place. That was between me and Adam. So shame on you for doing that to me as a person, for doing that to my channel, for treating Amber the way that you did when she was simply making a joke about the behavior of your people. Your shorties have completely disavowed Amber and I. We are person non grata. They have stopped following me. They don't come to my shows anymore. So you make me understand that kind of mob mentality, okay?
Not all of them. Let's say that not all of them. Some of them are still very, have not done so or are coming around. I just want to say that, at least to me.
I don't know that. Personally, no one's reached out to me. So that's all I'm saying. That's my truth, that I don't have a relationship anymore with any of the shorties other than Adam, because they all decided to side with her and believe a lie that she told about me. So, or maybe they don't like me too. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I was never meant to be part of your shorties. Maybe being an ex-cop wasn't something they really loved. Maybe they don't like me as a person. That's okay. You don't have to like me, but don't lie about me. That's all I'm asking.
Pretty much. And
so that's really
that's all I have to say. Like if it's already out there, you might as well at least know what's really happening and what's going on. it's ridiculous. It's drama. I'm over
Yeah,
it.
it's actually it's like the biggest waste of time that I've had to put towards something since I started this, and I don't have time for this. I'm trying to help people get justice for their family members, and I'm trying to help the rest of you all call out crime and corruption. So I do not have time for this kind of nonsense anymore, and I won't give it any more time. So if she wants to come on my show and talk it out with me, I'll give her that time. But you owe me an apology, Lisa, because I did absolutely nothing to you. And so it's just a shame that this all snowballed into whatever mess that this is, because I won't apologize for telling Adam to watch his back. Your behavior was erratic. It was odd. Not only did you dump me as a mod, you dumped like 5 other people as mods who all gave their time to you and volunteered for you. And whatever reason you had for just canning them with no answers or closure, I don't know, because I'm not them, and I've only been able to talk to one of them. I haven't been able to hear. Well, I've been able to talk to 2 of them. The other 2, I don't know how to get a hold of them. But neither one of them understood what they did to earn your like complete exit from their life. So you need to think about what you've done and how you've allowed your own personal issues to affect people that were honestly just trying to help you and be part of your channel and try to help your channel grow. So
you truly you really cared for her. Like, you're like, hey, I really want to help her. I like her. She's an, you were very kind. I don't think you've ever been anywhere where you haven't made friends. And so it was very odd to me. And I always look at what's the common denominator. Okay. So if you're having all of these conflicts and you're the one having conflicts with A, B, C, D, E, F, and they're not having conflicts only with you, maybe the issue you need a little self-reflection. Maybe there's something going on. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not trying to hurt anybody. I still don't want to hurt her. I really do want the best for her and success for her, but you are demanding empathy and understanding from everybody else, but you're not willing to give that to others. So I can't like enough.
So that's why we had to come back on tonight. We wanted to finish talking with reality. We wanted to finish explaining to you our feelings about what's gone on with the whole movement the last few weeks, with the negativity and the name calling and what we will and will not support on our channel. And we're happy to have all of you that have joined us. We have over 600 subscribers now. We're just thrilled that you want to hear what we have to say every week. And we're happy to have you in the chat. And our platform is always open. If you are a person that likes to talk live like this and you want to come on, even if it's just with your pseudo name and your voice, you don't want to have your video up, that's fine. Come on, come up and talk with us. Whatever our topic is, you are welcome. Most people have a world of knowledge. They just never have a chance to share it because YouTube has now made a platform for us, where those of us that have worked many years and have had multiple careers like myself, I'm not the only one. There's so many out there that can come on this channel and offer some words of wisdom and break down these cases with us, break down the evidence. We are always happy to have a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th chair. I think I'm allowed to have 10 on my platform. So
I won't be jealous. The more the merrier. I'm like a sister wife.
Yes, exactly. We're happy to have any of you. So just, you can send me an email. You can
on Women Supporting Women, right?
Yes, send me a direct message.
This what this channel is about. That's what Kat is about. That's what I'm about. We are women supporting women. Let's build each other up and not degrade each other down anymore. It's not needed.
Absolutely. So we will be back next week. We will be back hopefully out of this place and I'll be over at my mom and sister's, and then eventually I'll get to go home to my house in Florida for a few weeks. And we will be back to bring you more content. So we hope that you'll join us. What do we have scheduled? My pain brain is taking over. What's scheduled for next week? We've got Michelle. We're going to talk to Michelle. We're going to go over
Sarah Ebersole, and
that's on Thursday. And oh no, I know we did not have anything booked yet for Wednesday, guys, but I reached out to someone who's been very influential in Canton, who has been doing an amazing job on the ground with her videos. And her name is Colleen, and I'm going to hope that she accepted my invitation. I was so impressed with her and all the work she's done to call out corruption. And I wrote to her on one of her Twitter posts, and because I did not have a way to DM her because she wasn't following me. And I just told her I truly appreciate what she's doing there. Wish there was someone like her in every community that was willing to go out and take a risk and take videos of things that are being done in the community that are illegal and improper, and asked her if she would consider being on Social Change Warriors and being our Social Change Warrior Princess of the Week next week. And she responded that we should do it. So I'm just waiting to hear back what day and what time. It might be Tuesday, it might be Wednesday, but we are going to be thrilled to have her on as a guest next week. And then we'll be back with Michelle on Thursday, breaking down more evidence in her sister's case and trying to figure out a way to organize a standout in Florida for Sarah.
This is a long one. Kat, do you mind if I read that one thing by John Como, though, before
Oh
we
my
go?
gosh, we forgot. Yes. No, this is our longest live we've had since we had Rita on.
I know.
I'm amazed we've lasted this long because Amber worked all day. Reality Check was working all day. I've been here all day doing what I'm doing. So I'm amazed we've lasted this long, but it was good. We got a lot off our chest that we needed to say, and we gave our opinion. And we have wonderful people live with us now. I appreciate you all so much. Julie and Katie and Kathy Coppins, my friend Kathy. And oh gosh, we've had several.
Auntie Deb is the queen of snark.
Oh
Queen.
my God, yes.
All hail the queen. I
Yes,
love Auntie
Katie,
Deb.
okay.
You got
Oh,
me
and
rolling.
Chrissy. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for being part of the live tonight. And I appreciate you guys so much. Your comments were just very thoughtful, and I was able to get most of them up on the screen for replay. Yes, so go ahead, because John has done amazing work in Canton as well, and he was gracious enough to come to our live Wednesday night. He was in the chat the whole night. I really appreciated that. Of course, he has to have that picture with him not wearing a shirt, which
You were flirting with him a little. I'm just going to say.
He's just trying to torture all of us boomers. I don't know. I'm wearing my t-shirt today, by the way, again, that says, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And that is, there it is. It's a giant flower. Beautiful. And it just says, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And that is just so true, and something we should all strive for every single day of our lives. So yes, I'm going to turn my camera off, take another drink of water, get up and stretch my knee. But please, let's give a shout out to John Como, and you go ahead and do your thing.
I think as RC was saying, apparently they're attacking him now, and maybe that's why this post came down. But wonderful thing about screenshots, this deserves all the credit. And I want to read something that John Como put up there, and he is a real man, because real men defend women, real men speak truth, and real men have hairy chests. So this is what John Como wrote. 2 months ago, I made the decision to step back from the Free Karen Read movement due to differing opinions on certain projects. I chose to do so quietly, without publicly criticizing or shaming anyone. Since then, I've observed events unfold without comment until now. Over the past 2 months, I've seen frustration grow around the fundraiser dinner. For the record, I was aware of the dinner from its inception, and it was scheduled around my availability. I was invited and even offered 2 free seats, but declined because I had stepped away to focus on a separate issue, such as the select board's refusal to return to town hall meetings in person. I added the in-person. That said, I remain 100% convinced that Karen did not back into John, and that something far more sinister happened in that house. I've watched as certain YouTube personalities attempted to justify their roles in the fundraiser. I've seen people turn on Sean, claiming he contributed nothing to the movement, which I know isn't true. Sean and Kelly once had a great working relationship. Many fundraising posts were allowed on Sean's page, and Kelly was given the freedom to post without prior approval. I've also observed the piling on Rita and others, and I've noticed a growing number of people from Canton quietly stepping away. For example, Jen O'Donnell approached Turtle Boy to ask him to inform Karen about I don't know exactly what this means, so let me ad-lib here when it says a family member. I'm interpreting it as a family member within the Free Karen Read movement. Some people thought it was Jen O'Donnell's family. Some people thought it was the Read family. I'm interpreting it as a family member of the Karen Read movement. He said, I've observed the piling on of Rita and others, and I've noticed a growing number of people from Karen quietly stepping away. For example, Jen O'Donnell approached Turtle Boy to ask him to inform Karen about a family member sending inappropriate images and videos to women in the Free Karen Read movement while making advances towards others. Oh, Julie says, no, it was a Read family member. Okay, Julie, thank you for correcting me. I just didn't have clarification. I didn't get anything else on that. And it kind of was open for interpretation the way it was written. Instead of addressing the issue, the focus was shifted to Jen's mental health. Disgusting, people. Stop talking about her mental health. You have no right. None whatsoever. That's what they always go to. She's crazy. She's a nut job. She's a whack job. What they said about Karen. When women are powerful and brave and impassioned, that's the first thing they go to. We're hysterical and crazy. It's just gross. So we said, instead of addressing the issue, the focus was shifted to Jen's mental health. I understand that some may not like what I've shared here, but it's the truth. Some of this is cut off as I see it. At the end of the day, I can rest easy in my Free Karen Read king-size bed. If you know, you know. Knowing I've spoken my truth in support of what I believe. The Facebook pages and YouTube live shows have become a powerful tool for Karen's advocacy and storytelling in the Karen Read case. However, when misused, they can turn into instruments of public shaming, targeting individuals, and unleashing a mob mentality. This dangerous trend not only undermines ethical standards, but also highlights a troubling hypocrisy. Some of the Free Karen Read YouTube personalities who rally against perceived injustices are guilty of the same behavior they denounce. These Facebook and YouTube platforms where you share your views have amplified harmful narratives. When you target specific individuals, it encourages your audience to engage in online harassment, turning your followers into a digital mob. Public shaming in this context can escalate quickly, with consequences ranging from reputational damage to severe emotional and psychological distress for the targeted person. This behavior mirrors historical instances of mob justice, where public opinion, not due process, determines guilt and punishment. The anonymity and distance of the internet exacerbate this issue, making it easier for people to participate in shaming without considering the real-life impact on the individual involved. What makes this trend particularly insidious is the hypocrisy displayed by some of you bloggers who engage in public shaming. These individuals often position themselves as moral arbiters, calling out perceived infractions while ignoring their own. You criticize others for actions such as spreading, I can't read that line, spreading something, spreading misinformation or engaging in offensive behavior, yet their own content might reveal similar lapses in judgment. This double standard not only undermines their credibility, but also perpetuates a culture of unaccountability. If you Free Karen Read personalities are unwilling to adhere to the standards you impose on others, your activism becomes performative rather than constructive. It shifts the focus from genuine social change to a quest for clicks, likes, and followers, further eroding trust in online discourse. For those targeted, the effects of online shaming can be devastating. Unlike fleeting in-person confrontations, digital attacks can linger indefinitely. Harmful posts are often archived, shared, and referenced long after the initial wave of outrage subsides. Victims may face job loss, personal relationships strained or destroyed, and mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, or even suicidal thoughts. The irony is that many you who enable this behavior likely understand the destructive nature of online harassment, but choose to ignore it for the sake of engagement. When you target individuals and encourage mob mentality, you compromise the very values you claim to uphold. The digital age demands accountability from everyone who contributes to public discourse. By resisting the urge to weaponize your YouTube shows and the Facebook pages for personal gain, you creators can help create a more thoughtful, empathetic, and fair online environment, one that prioritizes justice over judgment and humanity over hypocrisy. I loved every word. I did not know that man could write so well. And Julie, you'll have to tell me eventually at some point about it was a Reed family member, et cetera. 'Cause I don't know the details about that. But I just liked what John had to say, that he's calling people out, but in a respectful manner, and he's asking them to do better. He's asking them to rise up to the level where they should be, rather than pulling people down. And I'm here for it. I support every word that man said, every single word, and every hair on his chest. I support.
I love it. I just love it. And I'll tell you, that made me cry. I'm glad I wasn't online. I'm glad I was walking, getting my steps in this room that I have to get in for my knee, because it was beautifully written and it was true and it was honest. And the world is just full of too many freaking bullies right now. And there's just too many people using shaming and name calling and defamation and getting away with it. And it's just not acceptable. And we all have to stand up for each other. We cannot allow this anymore in this world. We have to get back to a kinder, more humane United States of America, because I have spoken with people that I know that live abroad, and I don't really recognize us right now. I really don't. And most other countries are not liking us like they used to like us. That's for sure. So we need more of the good, kind humans to stand up and stop tolerating and making normalizing this kind of behavior. It's not normal. It's completely wrong. It's unethical. There's just so many words that we could just put up that have to do with this kind of behavior. And I'm just really amazed that he was willing to do that and to write that long of a letter and to put it out there for everyone to read. And I encourage everyone to go on, is it DJ's show that he's going to be on tomorrow?
Yeah, Calling All Beings.
Calling All Beings. Okay,
Gigi's a really nice person. I love going to his chats and his channel as well, because it's very positive and sometimes spiritual a little bit. It just is very uplifting.
He seems like a very kind, gentle soul. The few times that I've been in his chats live, I mostly watch him on replay, but I've been in live and I've made comments about the yoga and the different calming techniques that he talks about and uses. And he's a very interesting human, and people are lucky that he's decided to live stream, because he's definitely brought something unique to the whole Karen Read movement when he decided to start covering the case, because it wasn't what he was streaming about. So it's been interesting to find him via this network of people. So, well, Amber, I know I surprised you when I texted you at 3:00 this afternoon and said, we need to go live. We need to put this behind us. I don't want to talk about negative anymore. Not that what we cover isn't negative. I mean, murder is negative. Corruption is negative, but we're doing something about it. We're trying to get justice for people. We're trying to call out corruption. I wanted to get my feelings out about all of these events that have taken place the last 3 weeks that had to do with just so much disparaging and name calling and just tearing each other down. I needed to get my thoughts out on that, and also my defense of what happened. So with our situation, but thank you for your willingness to do this. I thank you to your son, who gave up his mommy for 2.5 hours tonight, because we planned to only be on for an hour and a half. So we've gone an hour over, but I appreciate that your son was willing to let let us have you again tonight. And thanks again to everybody live and everybody on replay. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, constructive criticism is always welcomed. Please feel free to DM me on Twitter or write in the comments when you watch it on replay. So I hope you all have a really nice weekend. There's some, I believe the Army-Navy game is on tomorrow, which is always an amazing American tradition if you like football. There's a lot of basketball on. There's a lot of volleyball on. So I hope you find something to do if you're in a cold climate that you can watch sports together with your family or attend a concert or a musical. Go do something for yourself. Let go of all of this, all of you true crimers. Just let go of it for a few days. Nothing's going to change in a few days. And take care of
Grass,
yourselves.
like you always say, touch grass.
Yes, I love the new saying, go touch grass. But it's really about self-care. You know, you cannot constantly do for others 24/7. You have to do for yourself as well and take care of yourself. So thanks again to everybody. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week on either Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll let you know in our announcements. And if for sure on Thursday with Michelle and Sarah. And we appreciate all of you for attending our lives and for sharing out our cause. So good night, everyone. It's just us.